cat mint. And so everything's taken over. The mint takes over, the spirea takes over, and that's how I cut my 3 fingers and got 21 stitches.
Can you do that with lobelia too?
You can, but I would say lobelia, you said?
Wogelia.
Wogelia?
Oh, yeah, you can. So when they're done blooming, you can do that same thing, kind of indiscriminate chop to get it to rebloom.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
One more thing, Steve. I always ask you if we're safe. There's a lot going on. Can you reassure everybody that we're safe?
You know, as long as people are keeping their eyes open, and if they should happen to see something, they say something, we will continue to be safe, because, and especially this weekend coming up is the 4th of July. So
Yep.
just make sure you keep your eyes peeled in case you see something that doesn't seem right.
Thanks, Bronco. You're the best. Did you have any other questions, brother?
No, all I got to conclude with here is I will appreciate the safety briefing you gave on the use of hedge trimmers so that I don't wind up like you, Denny.
Yeah, you can't fix stupid, Steve. I've said it for years. And so, anyway, Kathy, it's nice to talk to you, too. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. There we go. It's the Home and Garden Show. When we come back, we'll be taking your calls. The number is 317-239-9393, right here on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Big, beautiful Bill. It's big.
Good girl is crazy about Elvis, loves horses and her boyfriend too. And it's a long day living in Reseda. There's a freeway
When the music is good, you let it play.
running through the yard. And I'm a bad
What a
boy.
nasty week. One of my maples, when the windstorms came through, lost one of its main leaders at the top and fell over. And I kept waiting. When was I going to go out there and saw it out? So I got out there, and even in the morning, it was like 85 or 90 degrees. And here I am on a 10-foot, 20-foot extension ladder, cutting this out with a chainsaw. And of course, I remembered the event when I got the 21 stitches with my fingers. I thought, don't fall off this ladder, you dumb butt. But then I started thinking about all the plants. Jack, it must be brutal to be running fresh cuts fresh flowers and stuff. How do you keep them alive in this weather?
It certainly takes a village. A lot of people in the morning, every morning, just watering every container that we have.
Yeah.
But it's so hot that at this point, even if you have something established out in your yard, you've had your planters done for a month now, it's just so hot and humid, these plants can't keep up and they'll wilt. So you can have a perfectly healthy plant that's well watered wilting in this heat, just really stressing everybody out.
Funny you would say that. That is an analogy I've always used about outdoor air conditioners. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
They're designed for 20-degree difference. So if it's 95 and you're trying to get it down to 70, there's 5 extra degrees of that little outdoor unit, and it's no matter what you do. And we'll talk about that a little bit later with air conditioners. But how often do you water? Are you watering morning and night?
So we're watering every morning, and then usually kind of spot watering everything that's in the sun in the afternoon. And then we have the overhead that goes overnight, and that still doesn't seem to be enough.
Wow.
If they are wilting, and they are in a sunny spot and it's in a pot, should I move it out of the sun?
If you
or
can,
will it tolerate some shade?
it'll
for a while?
tolerate. If it's something that's maybe a part sun annual, I would say pull it back. But if it's a full sun annual, it should be okay.
Okay.
Just make sure it's watered.
It just looks so sad.
I
They
know.
look so sad. They look like, please get me out of here.
But then best time to water is first thing in the morning so that they don't have that opportunity to be dry and stressed out
Okay.
in the day. That way they
Poor
have their
things.
water ready
Yeah, and
to go.
if it's hanging baskets, Pat always says it depends on the root ball. How much soil do you have? And if you don't have a lot of soil, you got to water more often. But I got a buddy down on I think it's south side. I guess I'd never really ask her where she lives. Her name's Tiffany. She had these beautiful, beautiful daylilies blooming, and they were as gorgeous as they could be. But she had painters come by this week, and the painters didn't put any cloth down, and they splattered those lilies. It breaks your heart. I mean, here they are trying
It's
to
sad,
survive,
yeah.
heat and floods and everything else.
Hey.
Hold that. Ethan, turn off your phone.
Pat does it every once week, so
Yeah. At
Jack
least
was
it was
just
a
filling
good-
in for him.
Yeah,
It was a
plenty
good
of
ring
fries.
Sorry,
tone,
guys.
too.
Busy day at the store.
Yeah,
Trying to figure out how to water.
Our number's 239-9393. It's area code 317-239-9393. Give us a call. That voice is Jack Phipps from Allisonville Home and Garden. And then, of course, Allison's in here, and she put up with an ornery week with the boys. They were on fire.
Well, the good news was I was out of town for a few days, so really I was spoiled because I only had 3 days of work this week.
So you didn't have to hit the dump button. It wasn't you hitting the dump button.
Well, not this week anyway.
Not this week, anyway. And Terry Stacy, how's everything out in
Good.
Hancock County?
Hot.
Hot?
Yeah.
Hot.
Corn's growing, though. I think it really is
Yes.
going to be knee-high by the 4th of July.
So
I
I
do
heard
too.
the heat makes corn grow faster. Is that a
Does
bad?
it?
Is that a bad thing?
Oh, no.
No.
It's really good.
Okay.
The high humidity and heat seems to be good for corn. And I'm wearing my corn shirt tomorrow for the first day.
Okay.
I have a shirt that's all corn.
He does.
It really
He'll be
looks
on
stupid.
camera.
And the
I
thing
believe
is,
that you do.
we believe
Yeah.
you do because right now you're currently wearing a shirt that has colored pencils on it.
Oh,
And
And
paper
also
clips.
paper
Wait a minute.
clips. I
And
see
don't
the paper
forget-
Oh,
clips.
don't forget
and the
the
paper clips.
Yeah.
Is this crazy? I don't know. I wore
Like
A rubber band ball in the
I
back.
wore a white starched shirt, and for many years a tie, most of my life. And when I retired 5 years ago, I just said, "Screw this! I'm getting some fun shirts." Because you can't wear these to the office. Well,
Yeah,
you might
wait.
be
You
able
could,
to now.
yeah.
You can
probably
now.
could, depending on the environment.
Very
now.
few suits anymore you see
Yeah. That is
downtown.
true.
Not many.
I-
Ties, you do still see, white
shirt
button-down
and tie,
shirts and
yeah.
a tie
When
from
I-
time to time.
When
but
I
not often.
retired, we were, I don't know where it is now, but we were managing between 450 and 500 million dollars. And when people come in, they don't want to see you in a goofy shirt. They don't want to see you with Walt Disney, attire. They want you to you got to look like you're in business, So, hey, our number is 239-9393. Coming up a little bit later, we're going to talk about the super hot weather. We're going to talk about your HVAC systems and what's going on. And I got a fun little segment that, in fact, we might just start that right now. What do you think? I did some research and it popped up in my feed. Name me one of the top 10 inventions, any one of them. There's 10 of them. What are the top 10 inventions
Oh, man.
of
I
all
can
time?
name them.
Of all time.
Microwave, number one.
Oh,
No, the microwave is not in there, but that's pretty good. That's
When
a
you mean
convenient.
top invention, you mean the most used?
You mean like penicillin?
I will give you the.
Or do you mean like...
'Cause I
are you
feel
talking
like-
about a television.
Yeah, because they're very different but very important.
I'll give
Yeah.
you two of the ones that I did not think about at all.
Okay.
I was thinking about the safety pin. I was thinking about the paperclip.
Thought about the wheel.
Yeah, okay, the
Yeah,
greatest.
that's where it came to my mind
That
immediately.
is
like
number one.
paperclip.
Allison Lemon's got number one. It's
Match.
the wheel.
The wheel.
It was the wheel. What do you
Yeah.
think was number two?
Fire.
I don't
no,
think
I
you
get-
invent that.
no.
It was agriculture. See, we didn't used to propagate things. We would gather. We were hunters and gatherers, but we never really planted anything or grew anything. So agriculture was considered one of the great all-time inventions of all time.
Inventions.
But not microwave?
No, microwave's not on there. Give me another one though. Think about
the
all
car.
it's not on there.
Well, this list is just ridiculous.
Oh.
No microwave, no
Is there
car.
a cell phone on there? What about the telephone?
No, you're close. Electricity. Okay.
Okay.
When
Okay.
they
That covers
figured
a
out
lot.
Okay.
alternating.
Yeah.
and-
That's a cop out.
We'll
Sure.
give it to him.
Deodorant.
That's a good one. Because think about how that'd be like.
Think
huh?
about that corpse plant. No, I think not. Electricity's in there. The printing press.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
printer.
Gutenberg.
Okay.
The
You don't
printing
really
press.
print things anymore, though.
Yeah.
But the telephone's not on there?
Yeah, that's
the
surprising.
telephone is on there. You didn't say
What
telephone
number?
before.
I was saying it.
I have it
She
down
did.
as number 8. Telephone. Computer's number 7.
I want to say like railway at this point.
Steam engine.
Yeah,
there you go.
railway's
That
good.
we'll give you that one.
Thank you.
It was invented by Thomas Newcomen.
I needed that.
But it was James
you
Watt
did.
that got all the credit for it. Here's another one. Penicillin.
Penicillin. I
You
said
said penicillin. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you,
Penicillin.
what?
What? Am I
Wow.
not giving you credit for
No,
Congrats.
that?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. One last one, and then we'll bail on this one. Vaccinations. The most effective tool for public health eradicated smallpox,
Yeah.
controls polio and measles.
Yeah, but look how we're going the other direction now.
Oh, I've been
You
listening
know,
to
we're-
And all those
RFK.
cases are rising.
Oh my gosh.
RFK, when we got vaccinated as kids, there were like 6 things we wanted: measles, mumps. We didn't even do measles. We had measles parties and chickenpox parties.
Chickenpox parties, right? Right.
But now kids have over 40 vaccinations. That's a lot of vaccinations.
Oh, that is a lot.
Yeah, but anyway, that was number 10 on the list. Edward Jenner. There we go. All right.
Edward Jenner.
So, Edward, not Jenner, the runner, decathlon.
That was Bruce.
Bruce Jenner.
Well, Bruce is.
Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Thank you. I couldn't remember his name.
Okay,
Okay.
just move on.
We have Dale, who's got a question for Jack. Jack, you're going to be famous today.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Hey, Dale, what's up?
Hey, I've got a question. When is it okay to cut peonies down to the ground? They quit blooming. The blooms have turned brown. When can I mow those down?
So I would wait a bit. The leaves are going to kind of keep receding and gradually look worse, but that's just the plant taking energy back down to the rootstock. If you were to cut it back now, you'd take away a lot of that kind of stored energy. So if you can wait, a few more months or until they start to yellow quite a bit, you'll do a lot for your plant for next spring.
Okay.
So you could do it now, but I would recommend waiting.
Sorry, buddy. I hate peonies. I had to put up with Grandma B's peonies. See, I
them.
never
I love them
named
so
the
much.
peonies, but they
Beautiful.
belong. Oh, I
Oh,
know, but they have
smell
ants.
so good. Oh
and-
my gosh, the
John.
fragrance is amazing.
Dale, good luck. Sorry, you got to wait a couple weeks before you kill them good. Okay.
All right.
All right,
Thanks
buddy.
a lot.
We do this with tulips too, because you just gotta wait, and They're just awful.
Tulips,
the waiting is hard
daffodils,
because they just look so awful.
Crocuses know how to
You
do
gotta
it.
wait.
They bloom, they go away.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
you don't
done.
have to put up with their greenery, but that's where they store it all.
What's a crocus look like?
Crocus is a
Little
Jeff.
purple bloom. It's only like maybe 6 inches tall. The bloom, and that has kind of an orange center to it.
Is it
It's where
pretty?
saffron comes from.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's expensive.
it is.
Saffron.
Handpicked.
Oh, we have those at our house. I didn't even know that's
Crocuses
what
are
it
usually
was.
the first things to bloom in the springtime. You can see them blooming right through snow.
Oh yeah,
They just pop right up.
squirrel
Okay.
candy.
Squirrel.
They'll eat it
Squirrel
right
candy.
up. Yeah.
All right, when we coming back, we're going to talk about one of the really cool inventions of all time, and this is going to be Nerd City. I'll warn you ahead of time.
The microwave.
In the weeds. No, not you can't do that. But
Agriculture.
you're listening to the Home and Garden Show. Give us a call, 317-239-9393, right here on 93 WIBC.
Why do so many
your car's air conditioning, and a Nobel Prize-winning idea from the 1880s have in common?
Wait, one more time.
What was the
Do it
first?
again. I was
Trip in Florida.
trying
Trip
to
to
get
Florida, your car's air conditioning,
Yeah.
Okay.
a Nobel Prize-winning idea
Yeah.
from the 1800s. What do they all have in common?
Is it about air conditioning?
Believe it or not, it's about printing.
Oh.
This is a weird story. Air
Well, that
conditioning.
was my second guess. I should have gone with that.
That's so close.
Always
the
go with
thing.
your gut.
Yeah.
All right, so air conditioning is something we take for granted. I can remember being at summer camp all summer and not having air conditioning, and I just forgot about it. And then I'd come home, and I almost didn't want to go back because we would come home on the weekends to do our laundry and go right back out. But the way it was invented was really incredible. It's how they still use it. They were using water to pass over a surface, and they were blowing air through it. It's called a swamp cooler. But here's why it got invented. A swamp cooler.
Was it for movie theaters? It seems like movie theaters are the
It
were
was
the
usually
first
for
to
kitchen.
have.
It was, you might be right with
Because
that.
families would once the air conditioners came into the theaters, then people came
Everybody came.
because they didn't have air conditioning.
Well, here's the situation.
dreamt that.
It started back
No, that
in,
sounds right to me.
I'd
back
believe
in
it.
1902. Now, you have heard the term carrier. Carrier is an air
Carrier,
conditioner. Okay.
right.
Well, here's the story of how it happened. There was a young engineer named Willis Carrier, and he was trying to control the humidity in his printing plant. And printing, if the paper has too much humidity or too much moisture, the ink doesn't stick to it. So he was in the dead of summer, and he was in New York City, and he was trying to figure out how to get the humidity out. So he finally did figure it out, and he built what we would call the first swamp cooler. But then he took it the next layer, and he started dealing with the gas. And he knew that gas, there are three, okay, we're going to get into the weeds here. That's why we call
I'm
it.
not sure we want to.
Okay, with water, there are three different types.
Okay.
There is gas, which just humidity. There is solid, which is water, and then there's the hard one, which is ice. And what Willis Carrier figured out was that if he didn't deal with the gas of humidity, if he dealt with something else we call a refrigerant now, he could actually compress it and use it to effect condensation, let it expand, and then go through the evaporation process, which was how he ended up. He was just evaporating water through a surface, and it took the humidity out, and he vented it out so his printing presses could work. Well, why this matters is because every day we all have these big condensing units outside our house.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the compressor is. And what that does is it pulls the hot gas in from the house. It
We
compresses
got a
it.
lot of that. I'll tell you.
Hot gas.
My
no, that-
house.
House, not studio. Okay. But anyway, we compress the gas. We make it back into a liquid. We take the liquid inside, and then we run it through a coil. And as the air blows through it, it takes the cooling and cools the house, and then gathers up more heat and pushes it back out to the compressor. It's just a genius cycle.
Most of us had at some point. Now I didn't for a very long time because I'm old, and we didn't have air conditioning for a very long time till I got to be maybe when I was a teenager, and then everybody bought the little window air conditioners,
right.
and you really realized it was sucking the air out and cooling it back in, so you kind of learned how it worked. But there was always just the one room, and it was always your parents' bedroom. And the door, they keep the door shut. So I mean, even if you came in, everybody had to come in and watch the little TV in there, and then and shut the door behind you because you only wanted that room to be cool.
That's how it worked. And here's what HVAC salesmen will tell you: the old man of the house will complain that the bedrooms are too hot. So the salesman comes in, and when we sell air conditioning or heating and air conditioning, we have both people there, husband and wife. It's called a two-legger, because if you have a one-legger, somebody's going to be mad if the sale is made and they're not. So the old man says, "I want more air conditioning in the bedroom," and then the salesman, if he's honest, he says, "Yeah, I think I can do that." And how about you, Mrs. Stacy? We should be able to get more air conditioning in the kitchen area. Would that be nice?
That'd be nice.
See, and then she starts to smile, and then all of a sudden you got him going, and they say, "Well," and the old man says, "Well, we need it in the bedroom for sure." And I said, "And you probably need it in the kitchen too. Why don't we address both of those things?" And that's how you upsell an HVAC in a two-legger situation. It's an amazing invention. We are blessed by it. I will tell you that
Very lucky.
in the big buildings, they normally have what we call cooling towers, and all we do is pass water over that and run air through it, and we gather the coolness of the water and transfer it, through our HVAC magic down to the rest of the building. But that's why no buildings were taller than 7 stories for the longest time, because the upper floors were so bloody hot. Nobody could work in them. Nobody could live in them. So it's a great invention. So anyway, cool invention, the story of air conditioning. Old Willis, all he wanted to do was have the ink stick on the paper. And now we have it in our cars. We have it in our...
Oh, everywhere.
Everywhere, for sure. They have it in airplanes now. I mean, singles, little puddle jumper type airplanes.
Right.
Yeah. All right, I think you've had enough.
Another invention going off of that.
Okay.
That I thought of, I discovered last year. It's called a neck fan.
Oh, I have one. I just bought one.
And you put them around. It's like a
They're like
necklace.
headphones.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like a headphones. You put it
That you
around
hang
your
around your
shoulders,
neck.
and there's 2 little fans, and you can turn. And it's battery powered.
Yep.
You can swap around.
Mine is actually, because I got it this year recently, it actually is, you can charge them.
Oh yeah, charge it from your
Mine's
USB or
charged.
whatever.
And then the little fans, you can move them either direction, the left one or the right one, to face you up, or maybe you want a little in your chest area, wherever you need it. The little fans, I love them. I got mine for $12.99.
Oh, I bought 2.
They have
One for my house and one for work.
So good.
look up fan hats, because that's what they're using.
Fan hats are
Ooh,
great.
I would love
Those are
Everybody
cool.
who has been detasseling corn,
Oh,
they have
can
a
you
fan hat.
imagine?
They have 2 little fans right on the brim, and you can aim it at your face or
Yeah.
wherever you want them. But the kids are using those in detasseling corn now. Fan hats.
I'm glad they're still detasseling corn. You figured by now there's got to be some sort of invention.
Robot.
Right, a
Yeah.
robot or
I had
something.
enough
Machine.
nasty
I'm glad
jobs.
you're
I
doing
didn't
it.
need one.
That's a first job
Hey,
for
before
me.
we go to our break, let's talk to Jeff. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Hey, fine, thanks. Well, girls, it is the time of year, so I got to talk to Denny for a second. I don't want to bore you to death.
It's okay.
I've
Yeah.
already
Right
bored.
here.
I've
Right
already
here.
bored him to death. Why do you get to do it? What's up, Jeff?
Yeah, it's par for the course. Last week, the capacitor, I put one on, but it wasn't it. It was just a switch to the air conditioning unit, a contact.
Contactor.
So
Okay.
I got it fixed. And now, woke up this morning. Well, this is what you get with a 100-year-old home that my wife wanted to have, is sometimes you get 70-year-old appliances. So the whole deal is, we wake up this morning and my little giant condensing pump, the overflow,
Yeah.
which is common that someone that does it does not hook that up. You know what I mean? So we didn't know. There's 2 wires that stick out of the little giant, and they say that most people that come and repair them, they don't hook those up to the furnace or the air conditioner. There's two little stubs of wire that come out. even
What
though they
Jeff
get
is
the
talking
power,
about
but-
is when we go through the heating and air conditioning cycle, the air conditioning cycle, we create condensation as the cooling goes through it, and all that condensation has to go somewhere. So if you don't have gravity as your buddy, then you actually go to a little pan and you put these little giant pumps in there, and then if it gets to a certain level, it's just like a sump pump. It pumps out the condensation. So did you have a mess?
Well, not much. I mean, nothing you couldn't fix with the mop. But here's the whole thing: it's already wired to go outside. It just went bad. It's either, and I've heard that the 2 extra wires that you're supposed to hook your overflow switch to the furnace or the air conditioner or wherever, right? A contact on that. That most HVAC guys or whatever, they will not hook that up
Because it shuts down the unit. Yeah, if it's a closed circuit, it'll shut down the circuit, and then you got somebody yelling at you. So they'd rather have it make a mess.
So where do I wire that to the panel on the furnace?
I have to say I don't know. I can have an HVAC guy, if they're listening, give us a call. Where do the 2? It's for those are low voltage. Okay, those are 12 volt. I believe they're still 12 volt. They might be 24 volt, but of course the little giant pump should be working off 120. But Jeff, I really don't know. It's been a long time, so I think it goes to the thermostat, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, if anybody's listening, have them shoot out a call.
All right, buddy.
And that's cool. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time.
Stay out of trouble.
I'll see.
Yeah, you can call too, 317-239-9393. It's the Home and Garden Show. Pat's on vacation, and enjoying a family reunion. I bet I can't imagine getting that many Sullivans and Ansleys together, but that ought to be a heck of a day. But you can give us a call, 239-9393, right here on 93 WIBC. This is a song from Ian Tongi, one of Ethan's favorite singers. He's got a new one out called Sunshine or Summertime. I can't remember what it is. But
Sunshine.
yeah, he's a big old Hawaiian. He just all he ever plays is a ukulele.
He's a big old fella.
He's a really good. If you haven't heard
very,
it,
very good.
maybe later I'll talk. Here we go. Oh, he's still going with it. Little later, he wrote a song called "On the Road to Hana," and Hana is a place in Hawaii, and everybody thought it was about going to Hana. No, it was his girlfriend who he was going to propose to, and he had a ring. And he says, "I'm on the road to Hana," and everybody in Hawaii thought he was talking about the island, and no, he was talking about getting married. How was that?
What a sweet story.
Was that good?
That was good.
That
Thank
was
you.
boring. All right, I got a nice little text message from my buddy Dan, and he said he's really having trouble with his rose bushes. So I sent the pictures over to Jack. Jack, we were looking. They look like they're just wilted, burned back. What's going on with these rose bushes?
Yeah, one of them looks great, and then as you kind of go down the line, it looks like you get less green, more kind of dead branch in each one.
Is it fungus?
It looks like there's a bit of dieback on there just from the winter.
Okay.
I'm guessing no green has come out on those branches since the spring. So if he trims those out, I guess cuts that whole thing kind of back, it should flush right back out.
All right. So if he's tired of him and he says, if I just gut him out of there and I'm replacing him, he'd want a smaller, medium-sized flowing plant? What would be a good replacement for rose bushes?
If he wanted something that was going to bloom all summer, a little dwarf Weigelia would be great.
Oh.
Low maintenance.
Easy to prune.
Very easy to prune.
Yeah, and they don't stick you.
Exactly.
Right. There you go, Danny. Hope you're doing well. Next up, we've got Mark, who's got an invention for us. Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing fine, guys. I think I overheard Terry say that one of her first jobs was detasseling seed corn.
Oh, yes. Did you do it as well?
Oh, I think everybody should do that.
That's what I said.
I'm an old supervisor of the detasseling crew, and
Oh my
in fact,
gosh.
40 years ago, they invented machines that could go through the fields and would actually cut the tassels back, and then also machines that would actually pull the tassels
Wow.
with tires.
Wow.
That would just go, there you go, the invention of the wheel and how it
Man.
metamorphosizes. But the problem with having to bring people into the tassel is corn grows at different stages, as we all know, and people have to come in and actually clean up the tassels that the machines miss. And once again, if it doesn't come up even, then there's shorter plants that pollinate and produce tassels later than the other ones, and that will fail in inspection. And I thought the last thing that you'd be interested in inventions, they've actually started breeding, once again, 40 years ago, corn that was actually, the tassels would be sterile, so you could leave them in the plant and wouldn't have to tassel those fields, and it would still make a hybrid ear that you could sell to farmers, which would double their bushels.
That's amazing.
Before we had double cross corn. Yeah.
Wow.
That
Hey,
is amazing.
Heads up to everybody. Yeah, if you're not passing papers or detasseling seed corn, you're not getting a good start on life.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
I like
right.
this guy.
I love it. I'm just amazed. So I wonder if that has eliminated the human being that's the kids.
Do you still have detasseling crews,
yeah.
Mark?
Oh, yeah, you do. In
Okay.
fact, a lot of them are outsourced with migrant crews that come in and will come in and clean up your fields. But once again, you've got less than, I think, 0.5% of contamination that can occur in a field, and there are field inspectors that will come out and check that. So you have to have people coming in there to clean up what the machines don't get.
Okay,
Because they're not perfect. Hey, you still need people out here. We cannot be completely replaced with machines.
Everybody I've ever heard that did it was just miserable. They were hot. It was sweating. But let's tell why we detassel the corn. Each one of those little threads that come out of the corn ear have to get a thing of pollen. And
well,
tell why it's so important.
Those are called silks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're called silks, and they're actually pollen tubes which collect the pollen that sheds from the tassels. See, corn is a perfect bisexual. When it's first planted, it's a combination of both male and female parts, which as it grows older, it separates, and the tassel becomes the male part, the silks become the female part, and they actually pollinate themselves. So the reason you detassel is to get a cross. That way you have less disease, less deformities and mutants, and it's just like you don't breed, interbreed within family. You have too many characteristics to go against. So they try to take a family member from this group, a family member from that group, cross it, so that they'll be twice as productive than if they were just their own pedigree background. Is what it basically comes down to.
What a great explanation, buddy. My mom would say, "You're not a nerd. You're interesting." Okay,
well, thank you.
That's
I
really
appreciate
good.
That.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It really is interesting. Farming is interesting, and it's hard work, especially at this with the heat of the day. I mean, look at this, the temperatures. God. And anyway, God bless our farmers and those crews that work out there.
Mark, thanks for the phone call.
Especially this week.
You look after those crews. I mean, they're dependent on you to keep them alive and healthy out there.
Amen.
Okay. All right, buddy.
Thank you, Danny.
Thanks, Mark. I'll see you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. It is a nasty job. Terry, you did it. My mom and dad both did it because they lived up in Lafayette in the Purdue fields. That's where they did all the research. But Mom would tell me that they would take them out on the thing, and the girls would start to wear gloves because
you had to be covered from head to toe.
It would cut your hands.
Right. It's pretty high up. I mean, if you're smaller, it's harder. If you're in the mud, I mean, you work in the mud. There's nothing muddier than a field when it rains, and you'd wear boots. I mean, you'd just be covered from head to toe. But you had to learn
was the pay good? Was the pay good?
Or $4.25, I think.
$4.25?
And that was like in the 70s.
And I was making $1.50 at the plumbing company.
That's really why everybody did it, or would try to do it. I didn't last long. I mean, truly, I don't even last. I think I was like 3 days.
Technically,
and
you have to consider it slave labor because
hard.
only kids were stupid enough to go out there in the field to do it.
It's good for them.
Yeah, they need. It's good for them.
It's good for them.
All right, coming up, we've got a friend of mine. I'm going to call him my adopted nephew. His name is Juvenal Quezada, and he's out of California, and he's going to be talking to us about breeding chickpeas. Chickpeas are a protein source. I know it sounds crazy, but Juvenal, he used to be in peppers. So we're going to start off with peppers about how, whether it's jalapenos or whatever. So it ought to be an interesting little conversation, but he got up early so we could have this phone conversation. It'll be Juvenal Quezada. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on with breeding and plants, of course. And I hope you get a chance to give us a call. 317-239-9393. It is the Home and Garden Show. Got Allison Lemons. We got Terry Stacy. Jack Phipps has come down to take Pat's place. So if you've got a question about your rose bushes like Danny, maybe you've got a question about your pump like Jeff, you reach out and give us a call. It's 317-239-9393 right here on WIBC.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is
the parking garage, and you're going to a wedding this afternoon, and I warned you that you may not get out. Yeah, how would you? Is that a good excuse? My car's in the garage. I can't come to your wedding.
Well, I don't want to miss the wedding, so I would say it's my wedding. How about that? You have to let me go, please.
Yeah, and I told you, I said you could take my car, and I'll take an Uber home, and we'll square up later. Hey, listen, are you into hot peppers or into chickpeas?
You know, I can't say I am.
Well, I know you're huddled back there in the newsroom, but you got to listen to my buddy calling in from California. He's a plant scientist, and he's making new varieties of chickpeas, but he came from the pepper industry where he, took care of hot peppers. And you got to listen to this one, Jarrett.
Okay.
This is one you can carry with you the rest of your life.
I'm intrigued.
That's Jarrett Lewis in the WIBC newsroom. And yeah, here we are on the Home and Garden Show. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on my buddy all the way from California, Juvenal Quesada. Juvenal, how are you today?
Hey, good, Denny. How are you?
It's good. It's good to hear your voice again. Today on the Home and Garden Show, we've been bragging about what's going on in plant science. And you started off as a plant scientist in the pepper industry before you went over to New Sizer. New Sizer is on this cutting edge of making a higher protein source from a smaller source. And you're just doing some amazing work, but you spent time developing genetics in hot peppers. Why did you start off with hot peppers?
Honestly, they're just so intriguing. That so much variety in color, shape, their use case. I mean, on that I do like spicy food as well, so it's nice to have to taste peppers in the fields while you're working. It's a good trade-off.
So, what were you looking for before we get to the chickpeas? What were you trying to do with the peppers? Were you trying to make them hotter, sweeter? What were you trying to do?
A little bit of everything, honestly. What we look for is really what they're going to be using the kitchen for. So, for a serrano, you want something that is going to give you that kick for when you want to add it to your salsas or side dishes. But if you have like a banana pepper, it's a little bit more mild, so you do have to rein yourself in. Not everything can be super spicy, or else you might get some unhappy customers.
We have some ladies here in Indianapolis we call the pepper ladies, and they join us once a year, and they're always bragging about how hot their peppers are. And they'll make everything from fudge, and they make a lot of different things for us. But I am amazed at what great flavors we get from peppers. I always thought it was natural, but you guys can actually breed that into them?
Yeah. No, there is definitely, I guess, an art and a science to this where you can go too far and take away the flavor if you focus too much on, let's say, yield or disease tolerance, right? If you forget about the flavor, you end up kind of losing that connection.
All right, Juvenal, in studio with me, I have a fella that is in plants. His name is Jack Phipps. I have a Hall of Fame broadcaster by the name of Terry Stacy, and I got Allison Lemons, who is one of our producers here at WIBC. But Terry, you had a question.
I do have a question because on social media, the first time you ever click on something that is a fun, what they'll call a hack for growing, then you get a million of them. And the way that we're watching people grow things, I want to know if these are true or false ways to do them. And one is to take a pepper and simply cut it in half and then stick that half a pepper with the seeds still in it in the ground, bury it, and before you know it, you've got peppers. Now, are those kind of things that we're seeing? Can that really be true?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that would be, if a pepper were to fall on the ground naturally, right, some of those seeds would be viable. You would get something out of it for sure. Yeah, it's not totally false.
Is there anything that you're seeing that we should stop watching that isn't true? like putting a pepper, mixing it with a banana. You know how some people will say, you take a seed and you cut the banana open and you take any seed you want of any kind of thing you want to grow and put it in that banana.
I'm sorry, I did not prepare you for this, brother. But
nobody could.
Nobody could.
So I'm just checking because I don't know if you follow along on the social media stuff when it comes to growing, but there are things out there you're just not sure if it's true or not.
Yeah, I would stay away from mixing, let's say, kiwis and bananas and getting some sort of hybrid fruit that way. That's not going to happen.
Okay, all right, that's good to know.
All right, so this is my adopted nephew, Juvenal Quesada. He married a wonderful adopted niece by the name of Hengama, and it is their mother, or her mother, that I knew from North Dakota. My grandma grew up in Minot, North Dakota, and a few years ago I got to meet Nancy Kamali and her brother Jay, and this is how this all has come about. I've just tried to stay in touch with the family. But all right, Juvenal, you pumped up your resume. You were working in peppers, and you were bragging about how good you were, and then you ended up at New Sizer working on chickpeas. All right. So tell me what you're really trying to do with chickpea propagation.
Well, what we're doing at New Sizer is really trying to unlock the full potential of the chickpea. So it's already a great crop, but what we're doing is leveraging the wild genetics that we've lost over the 1,000 years of domestication and bring back what we left behind. So we're going to supercharge chickpea, right? Increase protein, increase fiber, maintain that flavor, all while making it relevant to the growers, right? Making sure it yields well, it can be grown in many different environments, has a good architecture, right? So just kind of making an all-around good crop great, right? That's what we're going for.
So, okay, you've got a growing cycle on a chickpea. What do you get, 3 cycles a year? Out in California, you might be able to get 3 growing cycles per year?
Yeah, so on average, you range from 90 to 100 day on a growing cycle. So yeah, we'll get about 3, but what we're aiming to do with speed breeding is one of the tools that we could use.
Wait a minute. Is that like speed dating for chickpeas? speed breeding. Okay, speed breeding. I'll go with that. Okay, so what are you looking for? Do you break down and look at them on a slide with a microscope, or are you just looking at general characteristics? What are you doing?
We're looking at general characteristics, seed composition. So in the fields, I'll take notes on what parents are most likely to succeed in a combination, right? So we're playing a little bit of matchmaker here. We can combine 2 parents together, and then we set them off, and hopefully we get a winner. Is really how it goes.
Can we grow chickpeas anywhere? Can we grow them here in Indiana? Is our climate the right kind to grow a chickpea?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
the best growing regions are a little warmer. They prefer to keep their feet a little dry, so not too heavy on clay, right? But they'll handle cold, they'll handle high heat just well. They're very versatile plants.
Where is most of that chickpea farming taking place in the country?
The majority of it is in Montana. So there's something called the Golden Triangle in Montana, where a big part of the chickpea production is grown there. But you also see Idaho, North Dakota, and Washington as areas of chickpea production.
I thought the Golden Triangle was in Northern California, and they were raising weed.
Depends who you
ask. That's the Green Triangle.
That's a green triangle.
There you go.
Juvenal Casada joins us. He works as a plant scientist for New Sizer. You can look them up on the web if you'd like. NUCICER. It's a wonderful story. Now, are you guys privately held, and this is this an experiment, or are you trying to make money off of this?
So this is a privately held company, right? So we're a UC Davis spinoff, as it were. So we're taking the experience of Professor Douglas Cook. His lab was focusing on nitrogen fixation research. So we're taking that idea and bringing that forward into kind of a production setting where we're trying to really become a staple ingredient that growers can handle, and then also the consumers want. So we want something that everybody enjoys.
So when you're introducing desirable traits into the chickpeas, how do you ensure that you don't get the undesirable, the negative ones in there, such as taste, texture, or the processing qualities for food? How are you doing this?
Lots of trial and error.
Okay.
We have an ingredients team dedicated to that, actually. So as we advance promising lines that look like they'll have all those positive traits for the grower, they're in the lab actually making pancakes, crepes, crackers, tasting them. Yeah. They're making sure that we actually have something that is going to be good both in the field and on the table.
That is really, really cool.
Do you hire taste testers?
I am available.
Yeah.
It is amazing how versatile chickpeas are, though. And the thing is, it's like when we learned that you could make brownies out of black beans. You know, you kind of were like, what? But the same thing with chickpeas. There's so much you can do with it, and that's why I think what you're doing is pretty incredible because, it's maybe the future.
You know, my adopted sister, your mother-in-law Nancy, she doesn't eat meat. Has she tried any of your chickpeas?
She might have. I mean, we've been found in pastas. So think it's like fortified. So those high protein pastas you see on the shelf, or high protein crackers, things of that nature. So you might not know it, but you could have had some New Sicer flour already.
Could have.
That's
maybe
pretty cool. Does New Sicer engage with any collaborations with researchers, farmers, or even the food industry? Or do you have any collaborations out there?
Yeah, so we work directly with growers who are already producing chickpeas. So we do that in order to get real world feedback. Knowing what the farmer needs to be successful is really important to know what I need to look for in the crop. So we do small acreage plots. So this is on the order of 30 acres, maybe less, and we trial them out in various locations before we consider anything larger than that.
That's really cool. You're doing that on 30 acres? My goodness.
Just to start, yeah.
Just to start. Well, Juvenal, you've been a perfect gentleman. Give my best to Hengama and Nancy, your mother-in-law, too. But thanks for sharing some time with. I had no idea what you did, and now I have a better idea. But you keep at it, buddy. You're on the road to helping the world in a big, big way. And give my best to all the folks at New Sicer, okay?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
You bet, man. All right, I'll talk to you later. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And that type of stuff's going on all over the world. Purdue, we've got a lot of that going on at Purdue, but we might all be having chickpeas very
well, and to
soon.
Terry's point, I mean, that is a big health trend right now too, is chickpeas are in everything.
Oh, your burgers? There's chickpea burgers. They really are finding ways to use chickpeas that
in everything.
In everything.
I survived on chickpeas. We just called it hummus 30 years ago.
I know. But that's what hummus was made of,
I
right?
know.
Chickpeas.
I went out on a crew at Hurricane Island, and we were at sea for 7 days before we went back to the island. And that's all we ate. And I thought it was pretty boring. I mean, I learned to use salt and a little bit of salsa and stuff.
Well, hummus for 7 days seems like a lot.
That's a lot of chickpeas.
We think of that as just a snack.
I think they were trying to keep us regular is what they were trying to do. But anyway, look up newsicer.com, Nucicer, and maybe they'll put the picture of my buddy hoofing all up there. But anyway, when we come back, we'll be taking some of your calls. Jim's got a problem with a sewage ejector, and we'll see if we can help him with that. You're listening to the Home and Garden Show, 317-239-9393.
Hammer and Nigel.
Corrine Jean-Pierre.
because this chickpea thing is really more interesting. He got me as a nerd. I mean, he's a nerd, but he's a professional nerd, or as my mom says, interesting.
He's a cool nerd.
He's
So this
a
is your
cool
thing
nerd.
now, right? Chickpeas?
I don't know.
Is that which
It's
way
for
you're
next
going now?
week.
Last week it was dentistry. And now it's chickpeas.
Well, remember I tried to get the pepper ladies, and maybe I'm going to get. Are there chickpea ladies out there? Chickpea.
Oh, I
guys?
bet there are.
I bet there are.
Chickpea chicks.
Chickpea. Oh, the chicks. Hey, let's talk to Jim. Jim, thanks for waiting so long. How can we help you, buddy?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a recommendation to get a surge protector on my outdoor air conditioning unit.
Okay.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, but Jim, before we go any farther, I want you to know that Ethan has been with us maybe 6 months now, and he's got a lot of things going, and he gets distracted. But here's how he labeled your call. He needs a sewage protector. And I couldn't figure out.
Sewage protector.
I thought he was talking about a sewage ejector. You know, that's what a plumber thinks. But a sewage protector, I don't know. Okay, so you need a surge protector on the outside unit.
Maybe you do need to protect it.
Maybe you do.
Maybe he was reading my mind.
I don't know. Jim, I'm a believer in those. Jane and I live on some acreage, and we're at the top, the highest elevation of that acreage. And we went through a period of time where we got struck by lightning, not just once a year, but twice or three times a year. And I finally hooked up with a company called Harvest. And I don't have his number right now. His name's Scott. And we started putting surge protectors on everything. I put them on the barn. I put them out in the grow dome. And that stopped everything out there. So then I made the investment, and I put it on everything. And you can put them on the panel. And what a surge protector does is in the shortest amount of time, it senses that there is a spark or a surge coming electronically. Right. It absorbs it, and it protects it. And what happens on an outside unit, it'll blow your motor. It'll blow, you heard somebody talking about replacing contactors earlier. That was Jeff. It'll blow all your sequencers. It will just blow it up. So, yes, if you can put it on the outside unit, I think it's a very smart thing to do.
Good, Dave. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You bet.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I tried to remember the guy's name is Scott, but I'll have to look it up, and if I do, I'll announce it on air here. But thanks for the call, buddy.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Joining us next up here, I don't even have a name. It just says Old Settler. So who's my old settler? Hello?
Hey, it's Kevin from Wanamaker.
Oh, hey, Kev. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Good. What's this about Old Settlers Day?
Well, I wanted to invite everybody to the southeast side of Indianapolis tomorrow, and specifically to New Bethel Baptist Church, where we're having our Strawberry Festival in conjunction with Old Settlers Days. They're where they shut down Southeastern Avenue and just have a good old party.
It's a good one. This is a good one.
You shut down Southeastern?
Yeah. Hi, Terry. I'm the Wheatley's guy.
I know who you are. I know exactly who you are, and I miss you so that you have no idea how Wheatley's is missed. Maybe you do, but incredibly missed.
We missed the whole community. So we're trying to stay active at my church. So this is one of the ways we can do that. We're having monthly breakfast with the Wheatley's menu at New Bethel Baptist as well. So put that on your calendar.
Oh my gosh, Kevin, when is that?
Saturday of every month.
First Saturday of every month?
Saturday of every month.
I've got it down. That's excellent. What about the fish?
Oh, Terry, everybody keeps asking that, and I wish there was a way. And the former owner, Tom Coates, and I, if we can figure it out, we're going to figure it out.
Best
so
fish
stay
in
tuned.
the world. You betcha I will.
So
but
what is
glad you got the breakfast.
What's Old Settlers Day, Kev?
It's just a small festival where Wanamaker was New Bethel many, many years ago in Franklin Township, and it's just a way to bring the community together with kind of a flea market type activity with all the restaurants, The Ordinary and Bontai, Randy's, Extraordinary, just all the restaurants get involved, and it's just a chance to come together on a Sunday after everybody gets out of church and kind of celebrate the summer.
An excuse to celebrate. We all need that,
Good
don't
one.
we? Don't?
It is a good one. That's
Well,
a
listen,
great community down there.
Good luck to you. Thanks for staying in touch. And you've already recognized that Terry Lynn is one of the real heroes.
Well,
of
no,
all
I
this.
just I miss that. I miss Wheatley's. But Kev, it's great to hear your
Thank you,
voice,
guys.
and we'll see you for breakfast.
What you're going to make him buy your breakfast now?
No, they have a breakfast kind of a fundraiser, I guess, where they're serving up the breakfast
I must
that
have
they
missed
have
that.
the Wheatley's menu that they serve first.
First Saturday of every month.
Yeah.
First Saturday of the month.
Hey, that's a good little tip there.
Our number 317-239-9393. You've already heard Terry. Allison is here. Jack Phipps has stepped in Pat's place to help us with all our horticulture and plant issues. Joining us right now, we've got John. Morning, John. How are you?
Good morning. Doing great.
What's up?
Well, I was listening to Terry Stacy, and I missed a chance to meet her. I was involved with Special Olympics, Johnson County. My family was, and she emceed an event.
Yeah.
Oh, golly. She'd have to tell me.
Isn't she
way up
charming?
north.
She's the most charming.
She is the real deal.
Well, I'm the worst MC, and I think that's why they invite me back every year.
You could
for
charm a
different events.
bulldog
No,
out of
but
his
I'm telling
teeth.
I'm
You know better.
Something will always go wrong. I'm the worst, and I'm so grateful. I think people like me to come back because I'm free. I'm not great,
No,
but
it's
I'm free.
because
You know?
No, well,
But Special Olympics is such a special place in my heart for so many years with Special Olympics doing MC things and being a part of, the event down in Terre Haute, which is awesome. And truly will always be a part of my great memories of working here at WIBC, was getting to be involved with Special Olympics. Are you doing okay?
yes, but I want to know, did you start out as a receptionist at WIBC?
I did.
Okay.
Just lucky.
Now, no, we were lucky.
Oh,
So,
bless your heart.
Hey, John. John, there are blessings that should be given to people who go out of their way to make other people feel good. You need that blessing.
one of them.
Yeah. No, I'm talking to you, John. That was really kind of you to call. That was really kind of you. You have a good day too, brother. Wow, Terry Lynn.
Well, I think he might have had a gardening question.
Did he have a gardening
You
question?
were so ready to rush him out of here.
Well, it's because he was complimenting you.
Yeah, I just got booted, I think.
No, you
No,
didn't get
I'm
booted.
not
Just
going to
right
let that
there.
happen, Kevin. You're
Jack,
still
you
here.
just like
Well,
off that
this
button.
This is more important. She was on the radio as a new.
He's just going to keep
announcer.
bragging on you.
I have to.
No,
I didn't
John.
get a
No,
chance.
wait a minute. Well, I got Jack standing by. He's got his pen and pencil in hand. Do you have a gardening question?
This is getting very awkward. Thank you, Denny, for making it so awkward.
We got to get through this.
Yes, we do, John. Thank you.
John took the time to call. Bless your heart.
Yeah, I think so.
Go
Well,
ahead.
You're up against a hard break.
Okay,
I'll
well,
let
then
him
we
go.
should go.
Do you want to keep talking to him? I think he had more to say.
All right, well, let's let him go. I mean, he's bragging on Terry.
Let the man speak, Denny.
All right. What are you chopping on me for? Go ahead, John. Take your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I was listening to the radio, and she was on with an announcer, and because she wasn't talking farming, probably back in the 60s,
70s.
somebody
80s.
called in and complained on her.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And she took it very well. And, the announcer, her male announcer
Jeff
said,
Pigeon.
Sir, you know what that dial is for? If you don't like it, turn the station.
I had good people around me that
Somebody
would protect me.
protecting old Terry Lynn.
That was a good Jeff Pigeon. Good Jeff Pigeon.
Thank
Sure.
you.
All right.
Yes. Gosh,
Well,
John, thank
That's
you.
it. That's all the flowers I'm going to give her today.
Hang on
loved
just a
every one
second.
of them.
I got to ask everybody, is it okay for me to put him back
Yes,
on
you
hold
can
now?
now, John.
Thank you,
Hey,
John. That was
thank
really
you so
sweet.
much.
Thank you, John.
Really, made
Thanks,
my
brother.
day.
You have a good day.
Terrific.
You know,
Thank you.
He went out of his way to make you feel good.
And you kept
You kept
hanging up
shutting
on
him
it.
down.
No, I was. Now quit that. Our
Well,
numbers
I mean,
239.
Tell me when I'm not lying.
239-9393. It's
Or
the Home and
is
Garden
it not
Show
lying?
without Mr. Sullivan, who
I'm
is
tired.
at a family reunion right now. Allison Lemons, I am going to smack you. The number is 317-239-9393, right here on 93 WIBC.
The default.
something to do with your home. It is Michaelis. They're really good in disasters. I always tease that it was always the weekend when people drove through houses and businesses, and literally Michaelis is the first one on the show to take care of that. Pretty good.
Can I break something to you, Denny?
Oh, you're gonna break my
Oh,
heart.
is it breaking news?
Yeah, I'm a little late since it is 10:38, but we didn't play the theme song at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, you just kind of went into it. I didn't know if we were going to acknowledge that or not.
You know, I wasn't.
Well, we
gonna,
always point out my mistakes. I mean, that's
Well,
the first rule of a radio.
Well, I think I received some.
Glad
of that
you know
too,
that now.
so-
Oh, did you get some smoke? Somebody bust up on you about something?
No, I'm just saying. You know, hip hop music, protecting your sewage. Sorry, you know,
Surge protector.
He's only a man.
Only hey! I'm sitting right here.
He's only a man.
We are equal. I mean, we got 3 men in here. We got 2 ladies.
Okay.
Well, maybe 1 lady and 1 woman. I don't know. Okay.
What's the difference there?
What's the difference
It's
there?
the way he says it.
All right. Let's see who's next.
A lady and a woman.
All right. We got Jess on the line. Hey, Jess, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. So I hope that what they've written down for you here is Sullivan Pines. So what is yours a surge protector or a sewage protector?
No, my wife and I bought a couple of I think it's Westersteed Swiss stone pines.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Jack. Jack will figure that part out. Okay. Are you having trouble with them?
Well, we live in a housing addition right next to a elementary and middle school, so we have a lot of kids in our neighborhood.
All right.
And we came home, I don't know, it must have been 2 weeks ago. And the trees, we bought them last year, and they're about, I don't know, 5.5, 6 foot tall now. And the middle, you know, the main branch that comes out the top, one of the lovely juveniles in our neighborhood broke about the first 12 or 15 inches off.
I wouldn't panic.
Okay.
Before I let Jack answer the question, Jane and I had a blue spruce in the backyard, and we had a family that lived behind us, and all the kids liked to jump over that blue spruce when I first planted it, and they broke the top out. And I went over and knocked on the door and said, look, I know the kids like to jump over stuff. How about if I buy something that they can jump over to show how tall they can jump? I said, I think I can fix the tree. That tree, when it finally blew over in a windstorm, was 35 feet tall. So, Jack, it's not the end of the story here.
No. So all you've lost on that tree is the tree's current leader branch, which is that top branch that just kind of grows straight up.
Right.
But the trees are resilient enough that you'll have another branch up top kind of naturally take over as the leader. It'll just put that growth back about a year.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. It's called a leader.
A leader branch.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, so to protect that, and if you have like a big open kind of split branch, you can get some of that tape, but really it'll kind of callus up and heal on its own.
Okay. Okay.
Just
well, that
now,
makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah, now I want to ask him the same question about a sunset maple that I lost the leader. It just snapped off, and I had to cut it off. Will it re-establish on softwood or on hardwoods too?
Yeah, if you have a lot of branches up top, it can help, at least on a deciduous, to try to kind of tie up one of them so you give it that head start.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can, on a deciduous tree, at least get 2 leaders growing up.
Well, Jess, there you go. Don't panic. Maybe it'll be 35 foot tall someday.
Well, hey, I appreciate the call. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah, thanks for giving us a call. You know, it's so disheartening. I still remember those kids coming over. The father was in a wheelchair, and he was just a great guy. But the kids were always active. I mean, they were running our yards, everybody's yards, and I love that. I mean, that's why I grew up in a neighborhood with my family. But when they knocked that tree over, I was ready to kill somebody. And I went over and I said, hey, listen, well, your stupid brat just broke my tree. No, you can't say that. You have to be positive and say, I'd like to get something else for them to jump over.
So that's a really smart way of handling it too, is offering, well, what if I get them like something else that they can play with? Like, that's very kind of you, because a lot of neighbors would just call them brats.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. We need more people like that.
I do think it's interesting, though. I did not know that there were leaders.
Yeah, that's cool.
In a tree, when a tree is growing, there's a leader. And And is it truly a leader, or do you just call it because it's the first one? Or is it leading something?
Well, it's kind of leading the shape of the tree, but I think it is just because it's a top branch.
What happens when we have two? And that happens quite often. Do they battle it out?
If you get two leaders, a lot of times they're kind of growing at that same rate, but then that just kind of creates a spot further down the tree where those branches kind of split, where down the road in a big heavy storm like we've been having, it'll ultimately
that's how
split in half.
That's how Mother Nature handles it.
Exactly.
Does its own pruning.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It is cool.
Nature's pretty smart. You got to give them credit. All right, next up we have Dale. Dale has called 239-9393. You can do that too, but Dale, what's your question?
Hi, Denny. Hi, guys. My question concerns a dehumidifier. I've got a geothermal unit that sits in the garage, and it's during the peak cooling time, the inside gets some moisture build up, and it was suggested to me a dehumidifier in the house might help that. What do you think?
I think I would put it on the lowest level. Do you have a basement or do you have a crawl space?
Have a crawl space, but not a basement.
All right, so I would see if I could put it in there, and I would ask the help. Now, you can buy one at the store, and it's just really a mini air conditioner. Earlier, we were talking about the evaporation and condensation cycle of how we control it, and that's what a humidifier or dehumidifier does. There are two different types of cooling, and there are two different types of heat. One is called sensible, and one is called latent. And the sensible one includes the humidity. So what happens this time of year is as the air passes over the coil, it deals with the cooling first, but it doesn't have any reserve to also take out the humidity. So sometimes we want to make sure that we have an oversized coil, but I think that putting the oversized coil is going to be amended by you putting the dehumidifier on the lowest level. You can try it inside the house for a while. Remember, it's got a tank or it's got a hose that has to have drain because that's where the moisture is going to be coming out. But yeah. I think a dehumidifier would make some sense, Dale.
So just go by the square footage for the size of it? Is that?
Yeah, that's how you do it. Now, realize you don't have to do it all the time. Most of them come with humidistats, and I would set it in the 60 range. You know, you don't have to put it down to bone dry like 25 or 30, but here's how you know how to set it. Put it at 100%. Or put it at 0% and bring it up until it clicks on. And then I would go like 10% less than that. But it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to do it. Just read the directions. I know men don't read the directions. They just take it out of the box and put it in, plug it in. Read the directions. Okay?
And the other quick question is, would it help any at all if I had a dehumidifier in the garage since my geothermal sets in the garage?
No, it would not make any sense to do that because the infiltration from outside, every time you open the garage door, humidity is a gas, and a gas fills an envelope, and the envelope inside your house is protected by doors and weather stripping and everything else. In the garage, you have no hope. Okay?
Okay, thanks so much.
You bet.
Bye.
Thanks, Dale. Our number is 317-239-9393. We're brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. If you get in a pickle with water storms, fire, and wet basements, always remember, life happens. Michaelis. Michaelis.
Come
on, let's try again.
Come on, Ethan.
Michaelis.
You had one job.
To help you through it. 844-FIX-IT. You're listening to 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
I got an email from someone yesterday telling me that they like
bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
If you're just waking up, good morning. It's going to be a splendid weekend. It's starting to cool off just a little bit. I got a nice little note from a guy that always provides us with dad jokes. He grew up in my wife's neighborhood. She was the girl next door to him, but he says, here's your dad joke for the day. Speaking of weather, did you hear about the man who invented the wind chill factor?
No.
I did not.
He died recently. He was 86, but it felt like 96.
There you go.
Thank you, Tom Hetty.
That's not bad.
Not
A little
bad.
morbid, but not bad.
That's pretty
I
good.
don't know. Stupid things like this. All right. Next up, we're talking to Jeff. Is this the same Jeff? Hey, Jeff.
It is, and Denny, you know that you are my internet. I'd call you first to ask you questions, but I had to use a lifeline and call a friend.
All right.
How simple it was. What you do is take that little giant out, unhook it, disconnect it from the furnace, take it out, wash it out, use your leaf blower to blow everything dry, stick it back in.
Wear your Jeff, wait a minute.
minute.
If you're going to blow it out, wear a raincoat because all the stuff that's coming out is going on you.
Well, actually, you wash it out first,
All right.
correct, with a hose and everything, but you want to dry your electrical components out.
All right. So then what do you do with those two bare wires? For those of you who didn't catch this, Jeff called in. He's got a little giant condensate pump, which is, if you don't have gravity to drain your condensate from your air conditioner, you drain it into a little pan, and then you pump it out from there. It's called a little giant. So what do you do with the two bare wires?
Oh, well, the two bare wires, if you pull your furnace cabinet apart, which you have to correct the direct wires that are going to the little giant, he said that if you look at it, there's two yellow wires. Take one out and hook one wire up to the yellow and the other wire right up to where the other yellow wire is, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. It becomes a switch.
Right. Do not hook it up. He said the reason they do it is you're only going to get a little bit of water, mop it up and fix the problem. What will happen is it does have a control of whether your heater comes back on and all that. So that's why HVAC people that are smarter than I am
don't hook it
bypass that, and they do not hook those up.
Jeff, thanks for calling back. I appreciate the clarification.
Now you know.
Now you know. Take care. That's what we call regular Jeff. He's one of our buddies. Our number is 317-239-9393. Brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. Next up is Bob. Morning, Bob.
Morning.
What you got?
I've got we're getting ready to put in a water softener system. We previously had a just a water conditioning system.
All right.
And that is start failing and getting iron in our water and discoloring the shower and the tub and all. But anyway, someone recommended we add a peroxide drip to the system we have now, and that would take care of the iron. But heck, that's a $2,400 item. I'm thinking about doing a dual tank water softener instead. What is your recommendation there?
Well, I believe you're talking about an iron filter where we actually let the water fall from the top of the head, and we give it about 10 to 12 inches, and we let it fall in the free air through the tank, and that oxidizes out the iron, and it falls and precipitates into the tank, and it can be washed out through backwash. I think that's what you're talking about. Are you on a well or are you on city water?
We're on well, and we got like 4.7 is our number for the iron grains,
yeah,
or whatever.
I always get a second opinion. I may go with the first guy, but I want to make sure that he's not giving me any baloney. I do not know. It's really easy to test your water, and you want to test it right off the well. You want to test it past all the other water treatment stuff that you have.
That's
but
what we did.
Give the folks C&J a call. It's 733-SOFT, 317-733-SOFT. And ask for a guy by the name of Kirk, K-I-R-K. I think his last name's Smith. We're not related, but I just really trust the guys. He is a certified water quality expert. I think there's level 5 and level 6. He's the guy to talk to, and he will be able to answer your questions. But always get a second opinion when you're getting ready to spend $2,400.
Oh,
Okay.
that's for sure. Well, you've talked about having the dual tank water softener, and
I'm a believer in that. Yeah.
someone has told me that the dual tank water softener would take care of that iron problem in our water. That was
All right. So we're coming up at the top of the clock. A water softener can remove all the pelletized ion exchange stuff that's inside a water softener. It looks like little mini golf balls. They have these little divots in them. And it can take out some parts per million of iron, but once it gets overwhelmed, then it's really hard to clean those. When we do the salt wash, it's really hard to wash those little dimples out. So they're right, but what you'll do is you'll overload both tanks of that softener, then you got a backwash and you're screwed. So I would rather deal with the iron. Just do not go with potassium permanganate. That's a poison, and that's something that we really don't want our grandkids and our friends drinking. But that's my approach to it, okay? Well, thanks for the phone call. You're listening to the Home and Garden Show. We are without our fearless leader, Pat Sullivan, who is enjoying some time off. And this week he's with family. Next week he's back at business, but he's away from us. So next couple of weeks we're going to have Jack Phipps from Allisonville Home and Garden.
Yay!
Yay! What a great guy. Jack, I always love it when you come in. Thanks, buddy. And, of course, Terry is with us. She's out doing an interview for tomorrow. You can catch Terry from 11 to 1 on Sundays. She does a very interesting human interest type show for WIBC. It's called The First Day. She is the current host of a long legacy that has been around for WIBC for quite some time. But you catch it. WIBC goes all the way, all weekend. It's not just the day parts during the week. Coming up after us, it'll be Abdul, and catch old Abdul. He says he's a Republican, but I think he's a closet Democrat. But since this is a conservative station, he's not about to come out and say that he's a Democrat. That's just my opinion, and you heard it here first on Home and Garden, WIBC.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indie.
Saturday morning entertainment from 9 o'clock to 1 p.m. My name's Denny Smith. Pat Sullivan's out of town. Allison Lemons joins me. Terry Stacy, Jack Phipps, and Ethan. Remember, we're brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. Water storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Oh, Michaelis happens to help you through it. 844-FIX-IT. That was a little light and cheery. What happens? You know?
I'm trying out different radio voices right now.
Is that right? Yeah.
You guys think I should go like deep maybe, or?
Is that deep? Kind of sounds like Kermit the Frog.
I was getting more Kermit vibes.
Oh, our number is 317-239-9393. If you want to go back and listen to that interview of Juvenal Quesada from New Sicer about the chickpeas, you can pick those up. Allison, how do people listen to things that we do during the day? Is it best to go to WIBC and hear the podcast, or do you do it through YouTube?
Yeah, you can go to WIBC.com, and then there's a Home and Garden Show link. You can go there. Or if you have your iPhone or any smartphone, we're on all the podcast platforms. So if you just search Home and Garden Indiana, maybe. Is that right, Ethan? Home and Garden Indiana on the podcast. You can subscribe, and then Ethan posts a full show every week.
That's really cool. 317-239-9393. Give us a call. Jack Phipps is in here. He's from Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan, and his business is taking care of plants and trees and all of God's creatures. Don't call about your bunny rabbit, because I don't know. Do you do rabbits? Are you the one that has the pet rabbit?
No, God.
Okay.
No.
Okay. You got a pet dog?
2 dogs, yeah.
Yeah. Did you give a shot every day?
2 shots.
2 shots every day.
You're diabetic.
You're a good human being. Oh, my gosh. We had to take Ellie dog up to Purdue a week ago. What a neat facility. And all the small, they'll do any small animal. I mean, I didn't see any parrots, but I was interested in how they do it. Those are really dedicated students, and they really know what they're doing. My congratulations to Purdue.
Hard school to get into.
It is. You know, I don't think this is an exaggeration. I think that I heard that there's thousands and thousands of applicants for veterinary science, and it's like 1% get in. I mean, so if you get in, you're one of the good ones. All right, looks like we've got a plant question from Aaron. Aaron, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Hey, I appreciate it. I love the show, guys. I recently purchased a house, and it's got a wisteria tree. And I don't know much about them, but it's got these suckers that are just coming up like crazy. I'm having to trim them like every 2 weeks. Is there anything I can do about that, or should I just cut the tree down?
So wisteria is a great plant. It's a vigorous grower, and that's just kind of the nature of the plant to put out those suckers. It just wants to grow. It means it's happy. I wouldn't cut it down. There is a product called Sucker Punch.
No way.
It's called
He always
Sucker
talks
Punch.
about glyphosate and Roundup and everything. It's called Sucker Punch.
So you don't forget. You basically just cut them down one last time, and then it's a little rubber cement brush and canister, and you just brush it right on that fresh cut, and that should keep those suckers from coming back up.
Oh, that's perfect. That's what I'm going to do then, I think. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Aaron, I have not heard about that product for a long time, but in Hawaii, when they have all these tropical plants and they want people to buy them and take them home and plant them, they use Sucker Punch on the ends. When they cut it off, it's like a little tube about the size of your finger, and they use Sucker Punch on each end to keep the plant from taking off. It's got so much energy, it will grow and grow and grow. So it's a really neat product, but I didn't know that's what they used it
Punch,
for.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, Aaron, thanks for calling us, okay?
Thank you.
You bet. All right, Jack, put on your intelligence bonnet. Here we go. We're going to talk to Michael.
Intelligence bonnet.
Oh, yeah. It ties below, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a sun hat.
Nice little ribbon.
Yeah. Michael, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. What's the question you have for us?
Okay, I got a lilac bush I planted, 15, 20 years ago, I guess. And it's getting real big. I trim it down, in the spring, I guess. I don't know when it is. But anyway, how far can you cut it back? Can you cut it back about 3 feet high? And you think it'll come back?
So if it's an old-fashioned lilac, if you've had it for, 10, 20 years, it most likely is. And as those get really mature, that trunk, gets a little thicker on the bottom. And as the thicker that trunk gets, the less likely it's going to be to push out new growth. So it really all just depends on, how it's been pruned in the past. But if you have, just those really thick stems, kind of up until that 3-foot point, if you were to trim it back that far, I don't think you'd get new growth coming back out on it.
Do you have one main? Do you have one main trunk, Michael, or do you have multiple canes coming up like your fingers all pointing up?
I think there's multiple canes because it really blooms nice.
One of the tricks that old Dick Crum taught Pat and me is that on the lilac that you separate it out and you do a third of the canes. Just take your nippers or your pruners and prune out a third of them. Just, space them out so the bush still looks full. And then next year you do another third, and the last year you do the last third. And that'll give it a chance to still stay rejuvenated, but it gets the bulk out of it. And that's another way. We learned that from Dick Crum.
All right.
All right.
Now, I prune that every year, so I'm taking pretty good care of it.
Yeah.
And it really blooms out nice. It's a nice-looking bush.
Aren't they beautiful?
They are pretty.
Yeah, Michigan in the springtime, everybody had lilac trees because that's what they would always plant. They'd always plant a lilac tree over the old outhouse. They dig a new hole and they pull it over, and to keep the stink down, they plant a lilac bush in there. But
I know all about outhouses.
Yeah, I
was
bet
born
you do.
in Castle, Castleton, Indiana.
Oh yeah.
Little town. There's a little bit small town there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we didn't have running water back then. We had a pump. We had a outhouse.
Isn't that
so? Yeah.
There are places all over Indianapolis. Since we're talking, do you know what the first fixture that came in, the plumbing fixture that came into the house was? What was the first plumbing fixture we brought in?
Probably the toilet.
No, that was the last one. That was so interesting about that. The housewives did not want that type of defecation taking place in the house.
No, okay.
It was the kitchen sink. Michael,
I should have said that. I was thinking that, but I went with the toilet.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said the toilet.
The second one, we learned all this in Plumbing History 101, which was a hoot. But the second one was the lavatory, because people wanted to be able to wash up, because we had old slop pots and we had, the basins and stuff that we'd bring water in and just pour a pitcher in and clean up that way. But after they saw that what you could do with a kitchen sink, they thought, well, we got to get this one in closer to the bedroom where everybody cleans up. So there it was, kitchen sink, lavatory, and the last one was the bathtubs came in there pretty quick too. But there you go.
I took my bath next to a potbelly stove, and when I got it, I put my hands on the stove. A lot of people put their rear ends, but I'd put my hands.
Whoa!
And it was red hot. Oh, I've done about everything.
Michael, how old are you?
Appleton, Indiana.
All right.
That's all right.
Got 250 people in it. All right, bud. Thank you a lot.
All right, we'll
Appreciate
see. Appreciate it. We grew up pretty soft, didn't we? We all had bathtubs and showers. And man, oh man, oh man. Our number is 239-9393. Whatever your call might be, give us a holler. Terry Stacy's back in, so Matters of the Heart. Allison is here, and she's used to settling down the wild beast during the week with Hammer and Nigel. So whatever you got. My name's Denny Smith. I do the water quality and the plumbing and the heating. And Ethan, if you want to know more about drones, we got a drone expert in here by the name of Ethan Patterson. And our number is 239-9393. You're listening to 93 WIBC.
Kendall and Casey.
Look at how he just broke it further than it was already broke.
Denny dances all the time off camera.
I
And
believe
you
in
forgot you were on
music.
camera, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because on Sundays he's dancing all the time. We have dance parties.
We do. We have a dance party. It's the Home and Garden Show. My name's Denny Smith.
He'll
That was
really let loose if you play Footloose.
Oh, golly.
You should see him.
Are you telling all
He
the
goes
secrets?
he can't stop himself.
Well, it's music. It is what it is. I had my first dancing gig when I was a freshman in high school. Do you know why?
What's a dancing gig?
I was in a musical, and I got to.
You were
dance-
in a musical?
I was in a musical, and I was a freshman, and I was a real short kid, but I got to dance with a senior girl. And I thought that was really cool. And I was hooked on music and dancing from that point on.
I'm sure.
Dance with girls, Hey, that's a true story.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Uh-oh.
Stop it. Here
His
he goes.
foot's tapping.
All right, Home and Garden's going to go out and talk to Brian right now. Hey, Brian, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about y'all?
Well, at least I'm not dancing to Footloose right now. What's up, Brian?
Well, thank you for what you guys do because I listen to you a lot. I drive semi, and when I come in, I listen to you guys. You make me look like a better man in my yard, not such an idiot. I have a 3.5-year idiot situation here, and I need help with it. And my neighbors appreciate it because they're tired of hearing me scream and yell and cuss about it. I have like an ivy plant. It's not. I don't think it's called ivy. I think it's called something else. It's extremely aggressive. It's aggressive enough that I'm going to have to replace panels on my privacy fence because it's just busted through them. I have poured off the fence. I found it this year. I gave up on trying to kill it with plant killer. So I cut it down and just chopped the vines and got it all the way to ground level. And it's already, that's been 2 weeks. It's already 9.5, 10 inches up my fence again.
Yeah,
How do I kill this for the end?
Well, we'll give you some tricks on that. Now, when you pulled it off the fence, did it have little short gray attachments?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
English ivy?
I would guess English ivy.
Yeah. I don't know. Between cockroaches, after the nuclear, when the Iranians bomb us, that's the only thing that's going to be left is cockroaches and English ivy. How do you kill it, Jack?
England.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of repeatedly treat it with Roundup. You wouldn't want to cut it back. You'd want to leave as many of the leaves because that's how Roundup or an herbicide works. It gets absorbed through that leaf, and then it takes the leaf's ability to take in energy away. There's also like a stump and vine killer. So similar to the sucker punch we talked about earlier, it's a very specific kind of herbicide where you're going to cut the base of that vine right at the ground level and then kind of cover it with that vine killer, and that'll help kind of kill the rootstock down below.
Do you have any other vegetation, Brian? Do you have any other vegetation around it, or can you spray freely with Roundup?
Oh, I don't care. I'll spray.
There you go.
A great American human being.
I'm a true weed eater.
Yeah.
Everywhere I'm supposed to weed eat, there's a section dead section.
Hey, hey, listen though. You be careful with the weed eater if there is any poison ivy in there. I heard this a couple weeks ago, and I really took note of it because I'm allergic to poison ivy. With a weed eater, that throws it up in the air, and you do not know where the oils and where the leaves and where the particles are going with a leaf eater. Every time, or with a weed eater. Whenever I have used a weed eater, I got stuff all over me. So be really, really careful. Did I say something wrong here?
Yeah, you kept missing weed
Eater. Yeah, well,
I like
anyway.
that you just stuck with weed weeder.
Brian knew what I was talking about, didn't you, Brian? Hey, Brian, you still there? I think he hung up.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I hear you now. Hey, I got a question for you. I was riding with my grandson. My grandson went out for lunch. He's a new driver, and he talked about canyon lands. And I go, what do you mean canyon lands? He said, that's when it's a 3-layer highway or 4-layer. He says you got a semi on one side and a semi on the other side, and you're in the middle. You're in the middle of the canyon. What advice would you give to a young man learning how to drive when he comes between two semis?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you, in the state of Indiana, that is illegal for the trucks to be in the left lane when there's more than 2 lanes.
Oh.
If there's 3 or 4 lanes, we're supposed to be in the right 2 lanes. The second thing is if you're being passed by 2 trucks, then you need to get over to the slower lane and get out of their way, because why would you fight with an 80,000-pound vehicle with a 4,000-pound vehicle?
Good
Not
advice.
me.
Good advice, sir. All right. Well,
have a good day.
Yeah, you take care of yourself.
Good luck.
How about that?
Oh, poor
Have you ever
Brian.
heard,
He's
heard the
fed
term
up.
canyon lands?
I haven't,
No.
but I know what he's talking about.
Yeah. There you go.
Reminds me of a Christmas Vacation scene.
Yes.
I wonder how feasible that actually is.
Is that when he drove under the lumber truck?
Opening scene, yeah.
And he's kind of just straddling underneath it.
That is a classic movie, a classic of all classics. Let's see if we can get one more in because we're coming in. We're going to be talking to Zach Terry here in just a second. And then also, we have got Craft Corner.
Craft Corner's coming up.
Have you got a tease for us?
Patriotic.
Ooh.
Wardrobe.
Ooh. Oh,
Fashion show.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Let's talk to Stephanie
Stay
real quick.
tuned.
Stephanie, you're the promo for the Craft Corner. Do your best here.
I'm all for it.
You're all for it. What you got, Stephanie?
Listen, I have a couple remarks, and one is to you, I believe. You were speaking about the cranes that are on South Illinois Street.
Yes, that was
Every
this morning.
time we go downtown, I see those, and I wanted to know, do you know what they're doing?
They're usually doing rooftop stuff. The only way we can get our HVAC equipment up on the roof, if he's got a rooftop that's gone bad, is we divide it into several different components and we lift it up. They won't let us do that type of thing. We didn't do very much heavy commercial stuff, but whenever we did, we had to rent the crane, which was a fortune. I don't know how much those things cost now, but they wouldn't let us shut down traffic during the week. We could only do it on the weekends at oddball hours. So they're probably moving an air conditioning unit to the roof.
Oh, I just wondered if there was a building project going on there that I wasn't aware of, and I don't pay much attention to all that stuff. So the other thing I wanted to say is when you were talking about the English ivy and the poison ivy, I had always heard, and this is what I did before I sprayed, I always bruised the plants. And by that, I mean I might take a rake, turn it around, and beat on it a few times before I
Now,
sprayed
Stephanie,
it.
you're not kidding me here. That's what you really did?
Yeah.
Did it make you feel better? Because it would make me feel better.
No, but I always heard that would help the herbicide get into the
I see what you're saying.
Beating on the tissues.
the fabric of the tissue.
Yeah. It's got a waxy leaf. That's probably a pretty good idea, Stephanie. The other thing.
Well, thank you.
Did it work?
Well, yeah, it worked for me. But I'll tell you what, talking about the weed eater thing, my husband did that one time.
Oh, with the poison ivy?
We have a lot we had a lot of poison ivy along our fence. And he did that, and I'm telling you, that was not a good thing.
You know, when I first heard it, I had never thought about it because I have always tried to spray it and stay away from it. But even when you get up close and you use an axe against, poison ivy is a vine.
Yeah.
And if you even use the axe, you've got to be very careful to not smack it, but to just cut it and then have a way to sterilize your axe or your nippers or your pruners because that oil is there. And so, that's good. One more thing, Stephanie. If you ever want adhesion onto a waxy leaf, just drop a couple drops of dish soap into your poison, and that really will break down the surface tension on the leaves themselves and allows the contact with the herbicide just a little bit longer. But I like hearing about beating on trees and leaves and stuff and ivy with a rake.
Well, you might as well get your aggressions out somewhere, I say.
I agree.
That's exactly right. You're pretty cool.
I always enjoy listening to your show, and keep doing the good work.
Thanks, Stephanie. You have a great day. It's going to be a
Great
good
tip.
weekend. How about you, Stephanie? You know, our show sponsor is the very famous Michaelis Corporation. Water storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens.
Michaelis happens to help you through
You're
it.
sleeping on it today, Ethan.
I know. He's asleep
Hey,
over there.
I would say the enthusiasm's there, though.
Yeah, I know.
It's true.
Like when I
The
show
heart
up,
is there.
I'm there.
Yeah, you're there. You know,
When you show up.
one of our favorites at Michaelis is a very, very famous Zach Terry. Zach joins us now. Hey, Zach, how are you?
I'm dancing the footloose.
You're dancing the footloose. Yeah, me, you and me
Glad
both.
someone is.
All right, so
Well, there you go. I'll just say when you played it, it had me going.
Yeah,
So.
that's good. Nothing better than Kevin Bacon dancing. You know, that's
100%.
And since we're talking Footloose, and then his best buddy they called Cowboy. I thought when they finally got him to dance and he broke loose, I thought that was a coming out of tough times for a young man, coming of age. All right, so
Pinnacle moment, yeah. It's
I
like
was
dancing with a girl for your freshman year, you know?
Yes. Oh man, boy, will I remember that the rest of my life. All right, we're talking mold and radon, crawl space stuff. What's going on at Michaelis?
Well, this week we've actually had, for me, a personal success because I sold 2 radon systems, mitigation, and clients were, I believe one was up in the 8.3 or 8.2, and the other one was in the upper 9s. And we got them both.
Let's
below
explain
the
what that.
2.4.
Yeah, let's explain to the audience. When you test for radon, you're looking for picocuries per liter, which is a small measurement of radiation. We talk about the Iranians enhancing their uranium. They're building it up. Well, the Earth naturally takes it down and it vents it through these cracks in our soil or even in our basements. But how high was that? That seemed pretty high to me.
The one was, I think, in the mid to upper 9s. I don't remember off the top of them. Actually, I have it on my desk, 9.3.
Wow.
And then the other one was in the, I believe, the lower 8s as well. And the different, also, just to let you know, the different soils under your house as well depend on the levels. Like, for example, like Nashville is going to be way higher than up here up north where we're at the clay compared to down there as well. So, yeah, we got them. The one that was 9.3, I think she was averaging at like a 2.3, 2.2, I think is what it came back as. She's selling the home. So huge success for the team and whatnot to make sure that we get those levels down. Definitely when you're dealing with the higher ups.
They say that radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer. It's really hard as a company. You've got to go in and you've got to let them know the danger, but you don't want to scare them to death. You don't want them to, start sleeping out in the backyard. How do you guys do that? I mean, do you start ventilation immediately, or what do you do not to scare the poor people to death? Because it is a danger. I mean, you've got to take care of them, but you can't scare them to death.
It's just properly educating, telling them. And the other thing, too, is that it's not the danger part of it is actually when that radiation attaches itself to like dust particles that you actually breathe in. So it's not necessarily the radiation itself, but it's the dust that you breathe in
exactly
from attaching itself. So a lot of times when people come back and they have a high rate on them, like, it's okay. Obviously we need to mitigate. The hardest part is when you're dealing, I've dealt with a couple of them that have been in the teens, and it's trying to tell the client that you're trying to get to that 4.0 mark, but it's not always guaranteed. And that's the hardest part because everybody wants that success of being in the safe zone is what I'll call it, but it's not always going to happen. Just depending on where you're at in the ground underneath, different situations in the crawl space or basement. There's a lot of different parts. So really just educating the client themselves on what radon is, what it does. I mean, you've been living with it all your life if you haven't had a mitigation system in yet. So
you're doing a good job. We'll tell people to test often. You can get the kit. And if you get in a pickle, it's not just water storms, fire, and wet basements. It's also radon and air quality. You guys are doing a good job. Thanks for joining us, Zach.
Well, one last comment here.
You bet.
I need a update that Pat's not going to be here on the email. I would have brought watermelon and beer down to the show if I would have known,
Watermelon and beer? That's going to be an interesting
celebration.
Gastro. Yeah, I guess so. Zach, he's going to be gone next week, too.
So mentally prepare.
Yeah,
call me.
Stay in touch, brother. All right, you take care of yourself. That's Zach Terry from the Michaelis Corporation. Water, storms, fire, and wet basin. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. It's 844-FIX-INDY.
Okay.
JMV here from my friends John and Chris Love at Love Heating and Air Conditioning. The heat is here, and you need to make sure that your air
and girls of all ages, even you 70, 80, 90-year-old boys and girls. This is the fun part of the show. We do a little bit of craft corner here with the likes of Terry Stacy and Allison Lemons. On the camera this week, we have the very famous Jack Phipps, who studied in Los Angeles.
He loves crafts.
He knows what he's doing.
There he is.
Okay,
There's
ladies.
Ethan.
Uh-oh, he's going all the way around the world. All right, ladies, what do we have for Craft Corner today?
Today we're doing of Independence Day, kind of a fun shirt. We're doing T-shirts for the kids. I have a neighbor that said that she's had her grandkids all week and she'll have them through the 4th. And so she said they were looking for crafts, and this was one that they found that they really liked because it is simple and it's easy, no paintbrushes. All you're going to need are child-sized shirts. Right now at Hobby Lobby, they're 20% off, so you can get them for a couple of bucks, right? So if you can see, we have red and white. You can get blue if you'd like. And these are just plain, simple cotton T-shirts.
So these look decorated. You've already decorated these, but you
So
just
that's
buy
what you
red,
do.
white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. They also have little baby onesies if you'd want something like that.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Jack,
you
I
have
think
your
you'd look good
shirts.
in a onesie.
All you're going to need are T-shirts. You're going to need some fabric paint, and I have them in red, white, and blue. You're going to need some Q-tips. Okay, that's going to be our paint. That's what we're painting with. And then you're going to need a couple of stars, a few stars. Now, the stars templates can be found and downloaded online for free. So I've got 8 inches. I've got 5-inch stars. You pick whatever you'd like. So obviously, the smaller the shirts, the smaller the sizes of your stars. So you'll take your stars, and the kids can help you with this part. You're going to ask the kids, where do you want the stars to be on the shirt? So you'll put the stars, once you have them, then you'll tape them down. You'll just kind of tape them down underneath. You know how to make that. Here you go, Jack, if you can get, there you go. And then you'll put that down. Okay, you put that on the shirt somewhere. You're going to take your Q-tips, and you're just going to paint dots all around the stars
that's pretty cool, Terry.
that you create. And it is. I would say that I have done it on this red shirt, and I'm not crazy about the color that it dries. This blue seems to dry almost to a black, and I wasn't pleased with it. But the kids will like this because they're just daubing, right? It's like
I
bingo.
love daubing.
They're just daubing the
You
colors.
can't mess it up.
You know where I thought you were going with this? I thought you were going to put your toothbrush in the paint and then back scratch it with a comb and let it spray little dots. I didn't know how you got the dots on there.
Well, now that's a thought. And again, I don't want to squash your creativity.
Okay.
So it's really to inspire you. I've also seen these done with the kids and their handprint. So you take the kids and you put a blue paint on their little hands, and then you put that in that far corner of your shirt, in the far left corner, and then they take with their fingers the red and make the stripes to make a flag.
Oh, how cute.
So you have their handprint where the stars go, and then you'll take the stripes with their own fingers, and you've got fingerprints of their stripes, and it's mixed little flag shirts. But you can do this on totes, because I know of a lot of you going to the 4th of July celebrations, and so you can do these with totes.
So what do you do with the white star that's there?
So then after this dries, and it dries very quickly, fabric paint dries quickly, you'll just take it off, and then you'll have the star in the middle and then the dots all around it. But
Terry,
you can
that's
do that
awesome.
In gold, you can do these in white and red. But I think myself, the white T-shirts actually look the best because the colors are really brilliant. As you can see, Allison's put the 2 stars, and then she's just daubing the red and black, or the red and blue paint all around it. And it'll dry, she'll remove those, and she'll have little star imprints where the templates were.
You did some
and you're done.
streaks. Is that to be like fireworks?
I was just playing. I was
Oh,
just.
you're just playing
I just
around.
got started to get
Her being
creative again.
creative.
I just started,
that she is.
getting creative again and just making things. But the kids will too. The kids will end up doing all kinds of stuff outside of that star.
Ladies
There
and
you go.
gentlemen, these ladies have brought their A
That
game
never
today.
ever happens. No, it's cool though.
There
It's
we
just
go.
to inspire you to do something like this for inexpensive, and the kids get involved, and it'll be fun for 4th of July.
And you can do like grandma and grandpa shirts to match the kids' shirts.
Sure you can.
Yeah, but we could be.
Everybody can do it. Just set it out. It's not too messy. It really is kind of easy. I would suggest putting something underneath in between the shirt, the front and the back. I put some cardboard in between Allison's, between the front and the back, and then that will eliminate in case it bleeds through to the back.
How would you feel about doing that while the kids are wearing the shirt?
I would love that idea.
I think that would be fun.
It would be super fun.
And then you could exchange. You could do grandpa. They could do grandpa grandpa's shirt while you do their shirt. Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, happy Independence Day to you all. That's coming up on Friday, and there's plenty of really cool Independence Day crafts out there. So take a look if you've got kids with you this week.
Will
Good
you,
one, Terry. I like it.
Craft corner. Oh, Ethan.
Will you kind of just hold the T-shirt up a little bit? I got
sure.
some.
Here we go. Oh.
There we go.
Look what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're making a wave in the wind. Allison's got her hand over her heart. God bless America. You're not going to catch this on WNAP.
And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her.
God bless WIBC.
The best part is the Facebook crew can't even hear the song.
I know. That's right. They could not.
Okay, sorry.
Oh,
about
ladies,
that.
thank you. Craft
That
Corner
probably
with
goes-
Terry and Allison every Saturday,
No,
11:30,
great, Terry.
right
Good
here
one.
on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Weatherman upset that Trump cutting some funding.
50 years ago. A bunch of guys sat down and said, we can do it better than anybody else. That was 1776, 1775, and they started putting all this stuff together. It was bloody hot in the summertime. They talked about, I read a report once about how the blowflies, everybody dressed up and they didn't have any bare skin because the flies would find them when they were inside Constitutional Hall. Ate them to death, and they just hung in there, and some of them hated each other. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, they were bitter enemies when it came to debate. And yet they hung in there all together, and then it was sometime in the 1800s that Jefferson and Adams both died on July 4th of the same year. It was really interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Very interesting stuff.
That's an interesting fun
And who
fact.
was born on the 4th? Thomas Jefferson and
No,
there's another. No?
Adams and Jefferson died on the 4th.
They died on the 4th, but not born on the 4th? Are you sure?
They just the United States of America, so far as I know.
Huh.
Yeah. Here it is, the Home and Garden Show.
There you go.
Well, Tom Cruise, he was born on the 4th of July. There was a movie about that. The war hero that came home and he lost his legs. Okay, this is going well. It's a Home and Garden Show.
I didn't really know what he was talking about.
Yeah, I know. Old movies. The Home and Garden Show is brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. Water, storms, fire, and wet basement. Life happens. Michaelis. What are you? Are you Dolly Parton over there now?
Oh my gosh! Speaking of Dolly Parton, just a real quick, please indulge me for a minute. Dolly Parton announced that she was doing a 2-week run in Vegas in December.
Yeah.
And I tried so hard to get tickets. They went on sale this week, and I was like 8,000ths in line. I did not get them. I'm very disappointed. However, it got me flashbacks to my Taylor Swift ticket days.
Oh, golly.
So if anyone got lucky and is going to Vegas to see Dolly Parton, I am jealous of you, and I hope you have a fun time.
She is a wonderful person. She has done, like Willie Nelson, she has done more duets with anybody that asks her who's in the music community.
And she still sounds great.
She still sounds great.
Now,
That's
I gotta say, and I'm a huge Dolly Parton fan. Really, I have spent many times at her in Tennessee, hoping to run across her. But I didn't care. I don't care for the rock and roll stuff she's done.
Oh, I think she just did that because
she just had done everything else.
Yeah.
Well, and if people ask, she doesn't say no.
No, she doesn't say no. But of all the things, I just didn't love that.
In the
It's a little
1950s,
different,
in the
yeah.
1960s, I lived with my grandparents down in Nashville, Indiana, and we only had one television station. It was Channel 4, and where their towers were, we could get Sarkis Tarzian, but that was the only channel, Channel 4. And on Saturdays, it was Porter Wagner and Dolly Parton. And as a young woman, I still remember she was always, a big-chested woman.
Oh,
but
here we
she,
go.
No,
Denny.
but wait a minute. She advertised this laundry detergent called Duz. And in every box of Duz, you got a towel. If you got a big box of Duz, you got a bath towel. And honest to goodness, those bath towels are all over central Indiana.
I vaguely remember that.
Remember that?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, I do remember there being
She would
a
hold them
towel
up and she said, "Do you like these towels? Well, you can't buy them. You can only get them in a box of Duz." And so and they had little boxes
Very
for the
funny.
washcloths and everything. But,
Oh my gosh, I love that story.
oh my gosh.
I do.
Oh, well. Channel
Jolly.
4. That was it. All right, you're listening to 93 WIBC. Give us a phone call if you've got a question. 317-239-9393. Kathy's going to join us right now. Hi, Kathy.
Hi there. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
Last week, you mentioned to someone about how to get a water softener when you didn't have space for a real water softener. There was another product that it wasn't a softener, but it actually worked.
It was a water conditioner. And the one that I like and that I have at my house, I think Pat has one, old Crummy had one, Dick Crum had one too. It's called Easy Water, EASY space water. And you can look up easywater.com, shove it all together, and you'll see what it is. And it works by sending the water through. Okay, I'm going to get my nerd hat on here. Are you ready, Kathy?
Yeah.
It sends the water through a rectified DC current that is done with magnetics and bell wire. And what it does is it changes the molecular structure of the hardness components, which is calcium and magnesium, such that they can be flushed out. So they don't get hard. They don't make that lime around your aerators or on your shower heads. And it really does work. But it's not a water softener. It's a water conditioner. It's a real deal.
So how do you do that? Does it attach to the?
Where does it go?
Okay. You have to find. That's a really good question. You find where the water comes into the house, and you want to make it convenient. But then they give you bell wire, which is like wire you would use in a science project, and you wrap it around the pipe about 18 to 20 inches, shoulder to shoulder, like you're wrapping rope and you're doing macrame or whatever. You're just wrapping it shoulder to shoulder, and then you come all the way back shoulder to shoulder so that you have 2 rows of wire, and then you tie it off, and then you have 2 pieces of wire from the beginning and the end, and you run that through a transformer system that they provide you. That's the unit. It's an electronic unit. It's very easy to do. I mean, if this knucklehead me, if I can do it, Kathy, you can do it. Okay.
Don't be so sure. Now, if I wanted someone to do it, would I just call a plumbing company?
Yeah, a plumbing company can do it. Ask Easy Water. Easy Water might have somebody to do it. It's tedious, but it's doable. Okay. If you've got any sort of coordination, you should be able to do it. Yeah, you got hard water. Yeah,
I've got terrible hard water, and I've called water softener people, and nothing will fit.
Well, here's the thing. Water softener people will make fun of this, and don't let them do it. Last week we talked about the white paper that was written by Dr. Cho. And ladies in the studio audience here, did I not send you Dr. Cho's white paper?
Yes, we have. Yes, we got it.
Allison?
You did. I wasn't even here, and I was just...
Did you read it?
I could feel the excitement through the text messages.
Yeah, Kathy, scientifically sound, it does work. So give it a shot. EasyWater.com.
Perfect.
Okay?
All right. Thank you
thanks
so
for
much
listening.
for answering. Thank you. Bye.
Now, I'm going to hold Terry Lynn Stacy accountable because you guys made fun of me and Dr. Cho.
Cho
and Pat no, not Cho, Dr. Cho.
I thought his first name was Cho and his second name was Cho,
No.
and he called him Dr. Cho.
No, that's like Dr.
Cho,
Wang.
was it
His
Chow Cho?
Yeah, his first name is Wing and his real name is Wing Wang. No, it's Cho, Dr. Cho. Okay.
Dr. Wing Wang.
Yeah. If anybody wants that white paper, send me an email at
Oh,
Denny.
they do. You know you do. You've got to have
Inbox is full.
Quit it.
I'm so
There
sorry.
are other nerds like
I know,
am. Okay?
I know.
And remember, my mom says I'm not a nerd. I'm interesting.
Right. And
Yeah.
she's right.
Yeah.
She is right there.
I think you forgot to take your nerd hat off.
It's a bonnet, remember?
It's a bonnet. That's right. 317-239-9393. Listen, you've suffered through 3 full hours of this.
It's almost over. We only have one more hour to go.
I know.
Okay, let's not be that excited.
That's the most excited we've been in the
That'll
whole
go by
show.
quick. We're ready.
All right. So what did you bring for the 4th hour, Terry? You can't just come in here with craft corner. and
I
say,
thought we would check on seeing how the stinky plant is doing. It's blooming
Okay,
in
you're talking
Bloomington.
about
Jack and I have been watching the live stream. We can update people.
And remind us what the guy's
Still
name was.
blooming.
Walter.
His name is Wally.
Wally, the corpus flower.
And
Corpse flower.
Smelly. Just only opening this weekend.
And
At
tell 'em-
IU.
down at IU, down there at the Botanical Gardens, right off of 3rd Street, 3rd and Atwater. You should be able to find it pretty easy.
Good
Pretty
memory.
place. Yeah. Did you go to IU?
I did.
Yeah. I got a grandson going down there. He went to Purdue, and he said, it's okay. He went to IU. What's the first thing he said? This place is beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
It really
a
is
beautiful
beautiful.
campus.
I think he also liked Butler a lot, too, because it was...
It's another beautiful campus.
Yeah.
If you had to go to college again, Terry, where would you go?
I would go to IU.
Would you?
No, I changed my mind. This is why we're not good at choosing college.
I think...
First of all, because I do love Butler. I love the Butler campus. It is gorgeous.
about
I
you,
know
Jack?
it's easy to maneuver and
Yeah. Jack, where would you go?
Maybe a smaller school.
Smaller school?
in Hawaii.
No, my sister went to Hamilton or Colgate in Hamilton, New York, and it was very small.
Yeah. Allison, where would you go?
Oh, I don't know. Probably a big state school since I went to a really small school just to see the difference.
I think I'd go in the middle. I might try it. I was intimidated by Notre Dame. I wanted to apply to Notre Dame,
Oh, wow.
but I was a plumber's kid, and I didn't think I could afford it. So, you know, I'd try Notre Dame.
Danny, did you not think I was educated? Why didn't you ask me?
Okay, where
You were plenty educated.
where would you go there, Ethan?
I'd be a hound for life, baby.
You'd be a hound for
There you
life.
go.
All
There's
right.
your
University of
loyalty.
Indianapolis. That's our boy.
Dedication.
All right, the Home and Garden Show is coming back for the final hour. Get on board, 317-239-9393, and we're right here on 93 WIBC.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News.
just little boys. That really the only difference is the price of our toys. We go for macho symbols like guns and running shoes, pickup trucks, hunting ducks, and power tools, power tools.
All right, here we go. Blasting in the fourth hour. It is afternoon in central Indiana. It's the Home and Garden Show, brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. Water storms, fire, and wet basement.
Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
844-FIX-INDY. That's the very famous Ethan Patterson, great baseball player. Jack Phipps is in here. Terry Stacy, Allison Lemons. My name's Denny Smith, and Pat Sullivan is gone today, ladies. I sort of miss the abuse. What do they call it? Stockholm Syndrome?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of got
So
that.
you're feeling bad about it.
Hey, I got a note from a buddy, and we were talking about Dolly Parton, and her latest number is called If You Hadn't Been There. She lost her husband a couple months ago, and she wrote this song for her husband, and I'm telling you what, you talk about a tearjerker, and she just belts it out. You can tell she's really emotional at the beginning of it, but if you hadn't been there, if you haven't heard that, get on your Spotify or you find that, and I think you'll appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, joining us right now is the very famous Fulton.
Hey, Fulton.
Hello, Danny. Hello, Terry. How are you guys?
We're doing great. How are you doing, Fulton?
Doing all right.
Yep.
Getting ready for the big show coming up.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks, Fulton's going to be in here with us for a segment or two. And you're going to bring your ukulele, is that right?
Yes, I am. Yep,
All right.
I sure am.
Have you got the number picked out that you're going to sing for us?
It's September by Earth, Wind & Fire.
Oh,
That's a good one.
Great pick.
That's a great pick. And do you consider yourself a tenor, a baritone, a crooner?
Well, I'm a baritone.
You're a baritone.
Yes. I'm a baritone, and it's just, I sing with baritone, like bass baritone or something like that.
Yeah. Do you sing barbershop quartet? I bet you'd be good in barbershop quartet.
I could sing barbershop quartet, but it's going to take a while.
All right, so what's the big news for the week? What you got going this week?
Well, it's almost 4th of July pretty soon. I'm doing the last talent show for Sister's Got Talent. So it's my last one this year, so I'll be singing and playing that ukulele. But I'm going out with a bang, and I know this is a hard time for me, but I'm going to try something new, and God's got a plan for me, and hopefully I can stick with it.
Man, you sound like a baseball player that's getting ready to retire. Don't retire, man. You still got a lot of gas in the tank.
Yeah, I've got to retire, Danny. It's time to move on.
Time to move on. Well, we believe in you. I'm looking forward to having you in here. For those of
it'll
you,
be fun.
Ethan is pretty special to our show. He calls in every week. In addition to his ukulele and banjo stuff, he's also an athlete. And you've done pretty well for yourself, you know. You still got gas in the tank, son. Don't you give up yet, okay?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you in a couple of weeks then. You work with Pat.
Yeah,
I think
that's great, yeah.
Pat's going to get you all squared away, and it'll be good to have you in here. And
you guys have a good Independence Day coming up on the 4th of July.
You too.
You know, that's pretty important. You called it Independence Day. We've always called it 4th of July, but it really is Independence Day.
Oh, and don't forget, Danny, JMV's going to be doing his JMV takeover tonight on B105.7, 107.5 The Fan, and Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Oh, nice. Great, Fulton.
Fulton, you're one of the good ones, buddy. That's the famous Fulton from up in Hamilton County.
Have a good week.
And he's a good guy. It'll be good to have him in studio.
Yeah,
it's in a couple of weeks, and we promised to get the camera on him so you can see how beautiful a young man this is. But multi-talented. It takes guts to play, any sort of music in front of people. Oh my gosh. Our number 317-239-9393. 317-239-9393. I don't know if you saw the news this week, but I'm asking you, those that traveled. Now, Allison, you were willing to go out to Las Vegas to see Dolly Parton.
Yes, I was.
All right.
I still am if anyone has extra tickets.
If you had an all-expense-paid trip to the beaches of North Korea. Would you go? It was just announced that they have opened up this beach resort in
Beaches
North
in
Korea.
North Korea. I bet there's some beautiful spots.
I bet you that would be very cool to say you've been there. I would be a little scary.
I don't think I would go. Right now, it's just for all their citizens, but they're trying to develop a tourist trade, and so they're going to test it out on their own citizens. Showed a picture of Kim Jong-un, and he was sitting in his palatial balcony looking down over the beaches and everything, and I'm going,
okay,
who the hell wants to go to North Korea?
Well,
I don't know if I care to share a beach with Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, it's like sharing with a beached whale.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big guy.
I say don't knock it till you try it.
I wonder how long it takes to get to North Korea.
It would be the same as Japan.
It would be a direct flight.
So it would be.
It'd be a direct boat. They don't have planes. No, I'm sorry.
It would
I
be.
don't know. I'm sure they have airports, but I don't know.
Oh, that would make. Well, interesting.
If you've never seen, all of you have Google Earth. If you want to see the difference in certain countries and other countries, do Google Earth at night, and you will see that there are no lights in North Korea. Whereas if you go to Japan, Tokyo, and all of the areas, you see the lights at night. You don't see that in North Korea.
Because they're asleep.
Yeah. Because they don't have lights. Allison, work with me here. All right, some other news that many of you may not have seen. Did you see that the Indiana State Police were named the 10th sexiest police uniforms?
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And they say they like the tight fitting.
Their uniforms,
Their
not
uniforms.
officers.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like the
I think it
officers.
was
No, well, the officers in their uniforms.
Uniforms.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're big fans of the Indiana State
Yeah, that's
Police
a good,
here.
That's a good
But
question.
the
Do a
10th
calendar.
The 10th sexiest. You know, we used to have fireman calendar.
Good on them. ISP.
Yeah, and they got the Smokey the Bear hats. Everybody likes Smokey the Bear hats.
Classic.
Classic.
Oh my gosh.
All right,
hilarious.
317-239-9393. Going out to Scott here on 93 WIBC. It's the Home and Garden Show. Be like Scott. 317-239-9393. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Morning, guys.
Hi.
I'm hot.
You're hot?
Oh, it's too hot.
Yeah? What you
Couple of Yeah, I was going to give you guys some observations on the current conditions out here.
Okay.
All the clover's blooming. So that you got that in everybody's yard. I was just going to recommend, there's a specific for clover killer that's fantastic. Just wipes it out quickly.
Does it hurt the grass?
Not at all.
Is it
for lawns?
Is it
it's for lawns.
Is it triclopyr, or is it something like triclopyr? What is it?
Not sure what it is. It's an ortho product.
Okay.
I think Spectracide has it too, but I'm sure Pat sells it.
You know, when we get,
And then the other
Scott, before
Go ahead,
we let
sorry.
that go, do we get the clover because our pH is wrong in the yard, or is there why do some yards have the clover and some don't?
It's just a weed, I guess. It's just a variety of a weed. Is where I would go with it, but who knows? Who knows why? But you get rid of it, and then it's gone usually.
Well, I wish that the same were for ground ivy and creeping Charlie. I have been fighting that all summer long. I'm doing my best to kill it, but we'll see. What else have you got?
Persistence on that creeping Charlie. The other thing I was going to say is, in this heat, most of the fertilizers and the weed killers don't work nearly as well. I'd say they might work about 50%. So don't get too frustrated during the summer when it's really hot like this.
Do you find it unusual that we got 5 or 6 days of 90-degree weather in June? I don't remember seeing that, Scott. That's going to be a long, hot summer as far as I can tell.
We certainly got a fungus warning going right now. We got some more rain last night.
Yeah.
And then my last question for you, this is an investment thing. Where are you at on gold? I was telling somebody, I'm like 62 years old. I don't think there's ever been a bad time in my life to buy it.
Okay.
We've talked about gold. Tell him, Danny, because
All
we
right.
talked about gold on the first day. I asked the same questions. What about gold? The commercials are out there. Buy gold.
I will never go against gold. Gold is the ultimate money for the last 5,000 years. Somebody has to dig it out. That takes labor, time, and material. And it's not paper. Every currency in the world always falls back to what it's worth on the paper, which is nothing. And it doesn't matter whether it's Zimbabwe, Doesn't matter whether it's the Roman Empire or whether it's the Dutch. So I'm a fan of gold, but you've got to do everything with some temperance. It used to be said, there was a really good guy out of Texas that I always admired. He ran for president on the Libertarian ticket, and he always stated that it was really, his name was Harry Brown with an E, and he always said that you should divide your portfolio into 4 basic groups: stocks, bonds, cash, liquidity, and then hard assets. And his hard assets were gold and silver. He was not a big fan of copper or platinum or any of those, but it was just gold or silver as the hard asset, or land. And so most people have the basic constituents of inflation protections by owning the home. Now, in the state of Indiana, they've screwed us all on that because they keep raising our property taxes. So I know.
I know.
I
I'd love to buy a piece of land, but I'd get taxed to death. So I really can't go there.
You can, but you'd want to go agricultural, or you'd want to go in the deep woods of Brown County or someplace to get land. But they're not making any more of it there, Scotty. But I'm a fan. I am a fan of gold. People always ask me, "Who do you read?" There's a really good guy on the internet that I love reading. It's Bill Holter, Billholter. Bill Holter. He's a friend of mine. He's out of Texas, and it's billholter.com. So, Scott, if you want to catch up with what's going on with gold, Bill Holter's a good place to start.
All right, man.
All
hey,
right.
you guys have a good day. Thanks, man.
Yeah, there you go. Where else do you get investment
Now let's
advice
talk
but on
about
the home?
Bitcoin. I still don't understand it.
I've tried
I
so
don't know what
hard.
it
I tell you what,
I've given up.
Let's use that as a tease. When we come back, we'll talk about Bitcoin just a little bit.
Oh boy.
It's the it's the Home and Garden Show, brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. We're right here on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
I got an email from someone yesterday telling me that they like my midday show, but aside from
been watching us on YouTube, thank you. We can't pay attention to the thread, but you guys are pretty entertaining, whether it's Kathleen, Mark Grifter, Terry Miller, she's there on a regular basis, Libertarian Dragon. It's good to have you on there. Thanks for watching the show. You can do that too. Allison, what's the best way for them to find us on YouTube?
Just go to YouTube and then on the search bar, WIBC, and we are the first to pop up.
The first one to pop up. That's us. All right, so we were, first of all, I got to tell you, I'm a retired certified financial planner practitioner. We got to get that all right. And you can't say you're a CFP. You have to say you're a practitioner. I'm retired. I haven't practiced for 5 years, but I still follow the financial markets every morning. Everybody always asks me about Bitcoin. And Terry Lynn, you were the latest. What do you know about Bitcoin?
I know it's the most confusing thing to me. I just don't get it.
All right, so
but I know people are making millions of dollars from Bitcoin.
Don't buy the hype, but that's true. What happened was there was a supposed Japanese programmer who programmed an algorithm with so many Satoshis, so many Bitcoin totals, okay? So there's only so many of them. And then he said that we could use this as a medium of exchange in the modern world. So you get a wallet, you go online, you buy a wallet. It's got like 27 digits, and that's your wallet and your number. I had a chance to invest in Bitcoin when it was 45 cents.
So you're talking about all the Bitcoin, because I know isn't there like a Donald Trump? I mean, there's all different Bitcoin things.
Those are called cryptocurrencies.
Dogecoin.
Yeah, those are cryptos. And the whole idea is that through cryptography, they make an exchange currency for us. I don't trust it. I back when the guy
So
first
what does
came,
that mean, Denny? I mean, I still don't even understand what that means.
It means
does that
it's
mean
on-
if I have a crypto coin,
Can you go to the grocery store and buy something?
Yeah. What?
I interviewed a fellow
Some stores.
many ago on WIBC by the name of Cliff High, CLIF space HIGH. And Cliff was a programmer from the 1970s, and he says it will be a medium of exchange until it's not. And I was interviewing him, and he was talking to me about it, and he said, for $1 you can buy a Bitcoin. That $1, if I had invested that $1, would be worth nearly $100,000 today. But it doesn't make sense. There is the value is on somebody's computer. It is a good way to exchange wealth. I mean, to send wealth. But I'm not buying it as
Who
a
am
store
I
of
sending
wealth.
What does that even mean? What does that mean?
Okay, on your
I'm
credit card.
sending wealth.
Have you used Venmo?
Yes.
Okay, and you can do a lot of different ways to send a friend money. It's the same way. You can do crypto. Everybody has a wallet, and you exchange it. As a CFP practitioner, I'm not buying it. Okay.
Why did we do this?
Why did we do it?
Yeah. Why was this invented?
I don't know, to get away from inflation, deflation, and
Less government oversight on it.
Exactly, Jack. And I'm not running it down. If it's for you, great. I would rather have another hard asset like land or precious metal.
I know a couple people, and they make a living just by crypto, whatever exchange.
And they're trading. Okay.
Trading. I don't understand what that means, but I know they make a living.
Think
and it's
of
better than mine.
a narrow sideways channel. When it goes up, you sell. It'll come back down, you buy. So that's trading a channel, and they've learned how to do it. It's just not for me. And
To sell their crypto?
Yeah.
Cryptocurrencies.
And you're to make. We know the people that are making millions. They say they're making so much money from it. It's because they're buying and selling it. Is that what you're saying?
People who bought it early and just held on to it are doing really, really well.
I'm sure it's hard to get in now and try to buy and sell.
It's actually easy to get into, but it's also easy to get clipped if you don't know what you're doing. Don't ever trade anything. I hear about people trading pork bellies and stuff. Stay the hell away from that stuff. If you don't understand the market that you're in, for goodness sakes, don't be investing in it. But anyway.
You can correct me if I'm wrong too. Like, I think the big thing about Bitcoin too is there's in a funny way, there's no take backsies either.
Yeah, no. All sales are final.
Yeah, so once you know that you're very protected when you receive Bitcoin, because you know you're going to receive that value, they can't take that back in any way.
Here's what all the skeptics say. If you are writing a program, anybody who writes the program, whether it's Satoshi or whoever it was, if you're writing the program, you always have a back door. You have a way to get into the programming, and you will always be able to get into it. Well, the rumor is that people have hacked that back door, and they know how to get in. And so you do hear about Bitcoin thefts every once in a while, where they just clean out an exchange, or worst case scenario, dishonesty. The people that run the exchange steal the money. I mean, they're a bank, and they're like anybody else. The temptation is always there. So just be careful. I'm not I'm not an expert on Bitcoin. It's all I can say is it's not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
About 10 years ago, I bought a few Bitcoin when they were like $200 each. And now in China, in a bankrupt company somewhere, I still do have.
That's the problem.
Like 2.4 Bitcoin that I'll never see again.
And when you listen and you read on the internet about all these people who are making all these millions of dollars, you're hearing people brag about winning. You don't hear about all the people who are lost. I mean, that the money's just gone. So just be really careful.
It's a gamble. This is a gamble.
And I'm not convinced people that are bragging about their big earnings.
Exactly, Jack.
Yeah, they're probably inflating, not taking out any of their losses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was a very good lesson.
It was a start.
I
listened to about half.
Yeah. I really am still.
Well,
I'm just
understand
kidding.
it better. I do understand it a little bit better.
Our number is 317-239-9393.
Crazy world.
Oh, my gosh, Allison, you have no idea how crazy it is. And, they used to call them Ponzi schemes. Do you guys know what Ponzi is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The guy just kept selling more and more and more, and he would be paying off the ones who were the early investors with the money he got. And he finally got caught. And it was millions and millions of dollars back in the 20s and 30s in New York, and they just really got clipped. Got clipped.
I don't think it's for me.
When we come back, we're going to listen to a song that I heard this week by Guy Clark. It's called Homegrown Tomatoes. You will hear it first here on the Home and Garden Show. 239-9393, 317-239-9393. It's the Home and Garden Show, brought to you by WIBC. Even clear, odorless water from a city water supply can bring unwanted contaminants like chlorine, lead, and hardness minerals into your home. C&J Water Systems remove unwanted impurities from water, leaving it soft, clean, and perfectly filtered. This summer, save up to 30% on select water treatment products with the purchase of any softener. Well Water, City Water, C&J, the official water treatment partners of the Fever, can make every drop in your home pure, fresh, and worry-free. C&J, 317-733-SOFT.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Hello, it's Terry. Good morning to you. Listen, I know right now you think, well, it's just too late to build for this year. I want you to talk to our friends, which I've been talking about for a while now. They build the beautiful, beautiful custom-built homes. They're called Joyner Homes. Tom and Sarah Joyner. Great group of people out of Greenfield. They've been building beautiful custom homes all across central Indiana for over 18 years, and I think you're going to really like what they're able to do for you. They build homes that have character, like the homes of yesterday, but they have the modern features that you really want, right? The custom build-ins, the smart design. Joyner Homes has a full in-house team that includes architectural design specialists. They're with you every step of the way. You can see pricing, floor plans, and photos to get started at Joyner, Joyner, joynerhomes.com.
It takes everyone in the community working together to create a brighter future. Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Visit liveunited.org to learn how you can help.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here for Gutter Helmet. I know it's not normally the time of year you think about protecting your home because we're thinking about vacation. We've done a lot of work in the yard. But you know what? When you circle back sometime, look at the gutters. You don't realize how important those gutters are because not only they protect you so you don't have to get up on the roof and clean the gutters, but they also protect your home because that water, the gutter system is there to move the water away from your home. So without a properly working gutter system, that water is going into your crawl space or your basement. And you know what? Those problems don't stay there. They go throughout the house. So the Gutter Helmet system, they come out, they clean your gutters for the very last time. It keeps all the debris out and keeps the water in. I have it on my home. Denny has it on his home. Terry has it on her home. I highly recommend it. They got great financing. It's a 12-month no payment, 12-month no interest payment deal. So the number 800-5-HELMET, that's 800-5-HELMET, gutterhelmetindy.com, and never clean your gutters again.
Hi, this is Chris Cox, owner of Chimney Solutions Indiana.
we're celebrating our 10th year in business. Call this month to take advantage of 10% off all chimney sweeps and inspections. We're also celebrating the opening of our new fireplace showroom on 86th Street and Lafayette Road. Come and experience our exclusive lines of wood-burning and gas fireplaces.
Call 317-757-6979 or chimneyindy.com.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here for Swain Co. We had Adam Swain in earlier talking a little bit about what goes on in a crawl space and what can be down there. It was not pleasant, quite honestly, but it's something you have to think about. So if someone has not been down in your crawl space, as Adam said, they'll come out, they'll do a little inspection, they do some video that let you know what's going on down there, and if you need help in that crawl space. I highly recommend encapsulation because it can change the environment of your home, because what goes on in that crawl space, it does not stay there. It moves throughout the house, and encapsulation conditions that space, that crawl space, like any other part of your home. They work on basements as well. So if you need help, Swain Co. is the company to call. They've done several projects for me. Always very happy with them. The number is 407-1868. That's 407-1868, SwainCoLLC.com.
You know that feeling of a fresh, clean home? Well, summer's finally here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at just $129. Take $75 off air duct cleaning, too, when you mention WIBC. Hi, this is Denny Smith, and Zero Res can handle every surface in your home and business. The carpets, tile and grout, hardwood, laminate, stone, upholstery, rugs, air ducts. Now think about everything left behind on and in your floors. Dirt, dust, allergens, pet dander. It's time to get Zero Resified. Zero Res uses their platinum-rated cleaning system that safely and effectively removes all the deeply embedded nasty dirt, dander, and bacteria. Better yet, it's safe for people, pets, and the planet. Zero Res cleans with no soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, and gives you fresher carpets and cleaner air for your family. So don't wait. Just call.
That I like better than bacon and lettuce and homegrown tomatoes. Up in the morning, out in the garden, get you a ripe one, don't get a hard one. Plant them in the spring, eat them in the summer. All winter without them's a culinary bummer. I forget all about the sweating and digging every time I go out and pick me a big homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only 2 things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
Love it.
This is what country music started off as.
It kind of did.
Yeah. I am interested in how y'all are doing with your tomatoes. Normally, we start to get our early tomatoes. I haven't got much, and I'm interested to see how everybody else is doing. We had those toad strangling water events called rainstorms, and then it got bloody hot. How's everybody doing on your tomatoes? Give me a call, 317-239-9393. 317-239-9393. I'd like to know how your tomatoes are doing.
I think they're suffering.
I think they are too. Jack?
I don't know what plant isn't suffering right now.
They just look so
Allison,
weak, and they don't look healthy.
They don't look healthy. Jack, are you growing tomatoes this year?
I'm not.
You're not. It's a tough season. Those of you who are trying to figure out when to water, always check your leaves in the morning. If they're wilted in the morning, probably give it a good drink. If they're wilted in the afternoon, it could be heat and something else. But always check your tomato plants in the morning before you start watering.
And friendly reminder, never water the leaves. We're always watering the dirt.
That's exactly. And tell them why. Why don't we water leaves?
Otherwise, you just get water that'll stay on there, and in the sunlight, you can scald. It leads to, fungus growing on there. A lot of reasons you don't want to.
Do you have any garden this year at all, Jack, or are you just going to the grocery store?
Yeah, I'm doing more cut flower. So as far as vegetable gardening, I'm just going to the store. But I have a lot more cut flowers in my yard this year.
Ooh, what kind of cut flowers?
Thank you for asking. So I have some dahlias that I've started.
What is it?
A dahlia.
Oh, dahlias. Okay.
Sunflowers.
Good.
3 or 4 random ones that I've taken from my mom over the years.
Oh, that's nice.
It is cool. And sunflowers, that was, I think when I was a kid, that was the first thing you got, maybe if it was a Girl Scout or something, and you'd get a little plant to grow your sunflower.
And they had the little ones. You didn't have to have the great big ones. They had the little ones that were growing up.
But that guy up in, where is he, Fort Wayne?
Is he doing it
Alex
again, the Ukrainian?
Babbage? Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
He's
he do big ones?
He's like a record holder.
Oh, wow.
In the
We're
whole
talking
world.
23, 27 footers.
Yeah. And the care and the love, he's got, it's just amazing. He's cried when there's been heavy storms that have hurt them because he's really, his goal is to grow the biggest.
Terry and I interviewed him last year, and I think it was last year, and I asked him about his fertilizer, and he goes, that's my secret. He says, we don't tell, but I think it had to do with fish guts.
It did.
He was talking about
You were
fish
talking about
guts.
fish guts.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you figure that out?
All the nutrients and stuff in the fish guts.
We used to put fish guts around our tomatoes. When I lived in the summer times, we would go up for weeks at Lake Schaefer, and Kenny Baker would clean the fish that we caught off the trot line or whatever, and then one of us kids had to go out and bury the fish heads and guts in and around his tomato plants. And he had beautiful tomatoes, but fish guts and fish
That's
fertilizer.
what Alex
pretty
said.
Good.
He wouldn't share the secret, but I think it was fish.
All right, Terry, you remember Rosemary from Irvington?
Oh, yes, we've got our packages. Is that coming up next week?
He's talking to her right now. We'll
Okay,
we'll get her
find
here
out.
in just a second.
Irvington Garden Club.
Yeah, all right. Going to Greg. Greg, how are your tomatoes doing?
Oh, right now they're chest high and loaded like no tomorrow.
Like no tomorrow. Good clumps. Are you talking about cherry tomatoes? Or are you talking about celebrities? What are you running?
Yeah, I've got Rutgers and Romas and some cherry tomato plants, and I've already picked a handful of cherry tomatoes, and there's more yellow blooms on the tomato plants than there's green leaves.
Oh, I love to hear that. Well, it sounds like you got a good crop going. I'm happy for you there, Greg.
Yeah, and right now I'm sitting on the front porch. I got my little setup for canning wise, and I've got 14 pints of green beans. I'm getting ready to put the jiggler on.
Oh man, green
and
beans.
That's just off of one row.
Well, I don't know if I can say this on air, but if you've got all your jars ready, we had a lady in here. It was one of the pepper ladies, and she was wearing the shirt and said, "Make sure you wash your balls. Canning season is coming." And it was the funniest T-shirt. Well, you got to get yourself one of those, Greg. Hey, thanks for calling, buddy. All right, next up, we are going to go to Rosemary in Irvington. This is one of Terry's buddies. Hey, Rosemary, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
How's your tomatoes?
Well, my tomatoes, I picked one very, like a pear tomato, and I've got also one of the cherry tomatoes. I don't know what varieties I have. A friend of mine gets them at a special nursery and gives me plants, but they're getting taller than I've seen them before. Like the regular one is maybe about 3.5 feet tall, and usually I'm not so lucky. So mine are pretty happy right now.
Good deal. Now,
but,
what you call a pear tomato, is that the ones that are yellow, that are pear-shaped?
Well, this one is pear-shaped, but it's not yellow.
Okay.
It's kind of a pink color. So, but anyway, they're doing fine. I was listening till we were talking about Wanamaker, then I took my neighbor lady off to breakfast. Anyway, I needed to know if anybody has let your listeners know about the Irvington Garden Tour, which is
this
tomorrow.
is a good time. It is tomorrow, yes.
It is tomorrow, and I've just been outside, and it's wonderful. It was 81, according to my car. So before I was like, where can you get air conditioning? And on the tour, you can go to the Bona Thompson Center, which has a special display about the history of the Irvington Garden Club. And there's also on the other side of the galleries, somebody found glass slides, well, not slides, but things that you would make pictures from, and they're from the 1900s. They found a box of them in their house.
Oh, wow.
And that's fascinating, too. But the Bona Thompson Center, was air-conditioned and has restrooms and such. But our garden tour goes from 1 to 6 this year, longer than usual, because we are doing special events at the Irving Circle. We're featuring that also this year. Our tickets are still only $10, and you get a free plant with your ticket. And then this is our 25th annual, and I have the honor of having worked on every single one of them. But anyway, we have never run out of plants. And last year we had 400 plants and just a few left over. So we have been potting up like I'm doing double what I did last year and so on. So I think the plants will still be there. And we have these old gardens that, you can get plants there that you won't be able to find at the nursery. But anyway, this is tomorrow. Tickets are available at the by the Methodist Church at Washington and Irving, Washington and Audubon.
Okay.
And still only $10. And this year we've hired a shuttle, and for $5 more, getting on at the Irvington Library at Washington and Audubon, you can ride around to the gardens, and you just get off and on at your will. And
Rosemary, you are really good. We wish you all of the best.
Yeah.
Listen, you keep us posted.
1 to 6 tomorrow.
1 to 6 tomorrow. She's the best. She
It's
calls
one of
in.
and it is one of the best garden tours. It's a beautiful
It
garden
is.
tour. Lots to see.
All
1
right.
to 6 tomorrow.
Tell us about your tomatoes. Speed Zone is coming up here in a minute, but let's talk to Russ real quick before we get to the Speed Zone. Hey, Russ, how are you?
Speed round.
I call it Speed Zone.
Just fine. Wanted to say you've got the best show on WIBC.
Wow.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Oh my gosh.
That's huge. That is the biggest compliment
You mean
ever.
we're better than Hammer and Nigel and better than...
Careful.
I know. I got to get some love in here for the Saturday cruise.
The Saturday crews are the best.
I love it. Take
thank
your time,
you,
Russ. All right,
Thank
you got a
you.
question for us, Russ? What do we got?
You mentioned the gold, and you know, when you look at the fact that the penny is being eliminated because it costs too much to make, I think that's an indication of where we are as a society. I think maybe if we go back to the gold standard, it might solve the problems of inflation and deflation. And the only thing is, if you notice now, if you have gold, it's very hard to get rid of it because you can't trade it by going to your local bank.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Did you hang up on another person?
I'm sorry. I was switching gears.
It's all right.
Go ahead, Russ. I'm sorry I tripped you off there.
No, I just think if we go back to the gold standard, it'll solve a lot of problems that we've had since we went off.
Yeah, a lot of truth. Terry and I did a segment a couple Sundays ago about it cost 3 cents to make a penny.
Yeah.
Now, that's crazy.
Hate to lose
It
it,
is.
though. I mean, I hate to lose it for some reason, just because it's change, right?
Yeah, I
You
think
see
so.
what
You
it
did
did?
there.
Oh, that was so
Come on,
Russ.
it was pretty good.
You got a lot of wisdom.
That's very
Russ,
good.
when we went off the gold standard in 1971, Charles de Gaulle wanted a lot from us, and we didn't have it to give to him. So Nixon just took us off the gold standard. $1 back then. What do you think $1 is worth today? You're gonna die when you hear this. $1 back then, and what that same dollar is worth in purchasing power. What do you think it is?
I have no idea, but I know it's no longer a silver certificate.
No, it's a tenth
It's a
of
Federal Reserve note.
Yeah, what you can buy with $1 back in 1971 is the equivalent of about a tenth of a penny. And it's the frustration of everybody that, wages aren't going up, but everything else is going up, including our property taxes. Russ, thanks for the call. All right, did I get the property tax complaint in there?
Thank you.
I just don't think that makes very much sense.
Oh,
Look at this.
Mike
Are we
has
funny
been
or what?
thrown.
Woo!
All right, the speed.
Ethan's out.
He cashed out his chips and went home. All right, we are coming up on the speed round, and that's a good chance for us to take your calls as quickly. We'll get as many of you can. If you want to talk about your tomato plants, your pepper plants, if you want to talk about the sun, the moon, the stars, matter of the heart, 317-239-9393. 317-239-9393. Brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation right here on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Big, beautiful bill. It's big, and it's a bill. We're
Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's family-owned jewelry store, is dedicated to quality and fine craftsmanship. Let them help you celebrate that special moment in your life. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. 17 hours and 19 minutes. We are ready to take your calls, your questions, and we're going to answer them all. You can handle the speed round. The speed round's brought to you by...
Speed Round is brought to you by Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Great pricing on Lazy Boy, Indiana-made Smith Brothers Furniture. Mattresses made in Indiana. And maintenance. Free outdoor furniture. Free delivery up to 75 miles. ThompsonFurniture.net.
Well done. Man, I like the new voices.
Well, I'm done. I'll see you guys later.
That was good.
You're not done yet because we get a chance to talk to Darian. Darian, welcome to the Home and Garden Show. What's up?
Hey there, I just had a new rock garden planted with some phlox plants this last week, and obviously there's still a lot of empty dirt in the area, and I need to know if I should lay mulch down in the empty area to kind of keep new growth. There was preen put down, and it is in a shaded, it's under a tree.
Okay. The thing about rock gardens, I'm glad it's under a tree because, Jack, we roast them out. I mean,
Yeah,
when
they
the
get
sun
so
hits those
hot.
rocks, they get so hot. What suggestions? Preen okay?
Yeah, preen would be your best bet. And then make sure you do kind of water it in so that you get kind of that nice chemical barrier. When you get gravel, it can get a little uneven, so you get a little more kind of gaps in there.
I don't understand what you mean by gravel layer. I mean, I do have a rock. I mean, there is a polished, they did put polished rock around the outside of it, but in the middle, there's rather large boulders, but the phlox plants are planted sporadically around in the area. And obviously there's a lot of empty dirt area in there. Now, I have watered it like once or twice. I'm not trying to overwater it, but it is under a shade tree, and I just need to know, should I lay mulch down this year until that phlox has a chance to kind of grow in?
What do you think, Jack?
Personal preference, I would say mulch, if you're to do a finely shredded mulch, will break down by next spring so that you could probably just till that in and then plant next spring.
There you go. Good luck to you, Darren. Next up, we've got Steve. Steve, how are you?
I'm doing well, Denny. Hey, I really appreciate the whole Dr. Chocho lessons every week.
Maybe the only
wait a
one.
minute. Is Kathy still with you? Are you away from adult supervision?
I am away from adult supervision. Want to know, would you be willing to post a link to the Dr. Chocho paper on the Home and Garden Facebook page?
I sent that. Allison was out last week. I don't think I have the link. I have the paper itself. So I guess we could put it into a PDF and we could figure out a way to do that. I'll talk to Allison, see what we can do. If not, Steve, I'll send it to you, okay?
That'd be great, Denny, because, I'm having a little trouble sleeping lately, and that might help.
Oh, it'll put you to sleep. Steve, you're a rascal. Hey to Kathy. All right. 93 WIBC. We're brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. We're always grateful for their sponsorship, as well as surprised that they continue it. But
God bless them.
On we go. Carol, thanks for joining us. What's up?
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks around the room, everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
I have a portable dehumidifier down in the basement, and it's just now starting to ice up.
Okay. I don't know who repairs them. When it ices up, it's usually low on refrigerant, what we call low on gas. A lot of those are sealed systems. They're like the units that you have in a window, but they pinch off where they put in the refrigerant, and so then if you get a leak through the evaporator coil, then there's no way to refill them. How old is the unit?
It's 8 years old.
8 years old, and go ahead and tell me what brand it is.
It's Frigidaire.
Frigidaire is a good one. Frigidaire's got roots right here in Indiana, too. There is an 800 number. I would go online and look for Frigidaire 800 service number or something like that. And when you get that, I would call them. You'll have to have your model number and just say, the coil's freezing up. I'm assuming it's low on gas. And just say, where can I go to get this fixed? Because they do, they really do try to keep them in service. They're really proud of them. But that is the one weakness of a dehumidifier or even a portable unit of that sort. But yeah, I'm sure it's low on gas.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Yeah, you take care. How'd you like to be able to tell somebody they're low on gas?
He did it a couple times.
Did a couple of times. Off we go. We're on the speed round, and George joins us. Hi, George.
Good morning. I have a Fidelity money market account. What conditions would occur that would tell you it's time to get out of a money market account?
You take a look at it. When the value goes below $1 is usually, it's called breaking the buck. That would be the only concern I'd have for you, George. But there's an online prospectus for Fidelity, and you can download it and you can see where they are putting their money, whether they're putting them in 30 or 90-day treasuries, because they have to keep them in cash too. They might be putting them in overnight CDs.
It's in a whole bunch of stuff.
I bet it is, but there's an 800 number on that prospectus too, and you can call them and just act like George and say, how do I know my money's safe? Where are you putting the money? How do I know when I need to get out of this thing? But it's the equivalent of cash. Yeah, good luck. And you're a regular listener, and I sure appreciate you. Thank you, George.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Man, we end up taking financial. I got to be careful.
That's what happens when Denny.
Oh my gosh.
People have
Is the
financial
host.
questions, you know.
He's
You
good.
Open that door, but there you are.
Remember,
this
I'm
is your Thatcher
I'm a
thing.
nerd, and my mom says
I know.
I'm interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nerds run the world, though.
You know what? Sooner or later, every athlete works for
Nerds.
a nerd. You know, when you're in high school, you're a nerd. You're little, you're a nerd. But I got to tell you, as much as I wanted to play on the football team and play on the basketball team, when you're 5'4", you can't do that.
God says no.
Allison shoots and scores. Well, Terry, tomorrow we got a 4th of July coming at us.
Yeah,
what are
we're
we
gonna
doing
talk-
tomorrow on the first day?
We will check in with Ken Burns, who wrote a fantastic documentary about our birthday, our 250th birthday.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Also, we'll talk about popsicles. Huh?
Ah,
Yeah.
dreamsicles or popsicles?
You know how? Do you know how old the popsicle is?
I wouldn't know.
Well, you'll
they
learn
didn't have.
tomorrow.
Wait a minute. One of the
What a
greatest.
tease.
They didn't have refrigeration.
Nope. You'll hear about popsicles.
That's
and,
what we call it,
what else?
tease in
More.
radio.
There's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Just not those are the two highlights.
And the first
right
day
now.
is tomorrow here on WWC at what time?
11 a.m. to 1. Me.
It's fun.
Denny, Zare, Kylan, Tally.
Kylan May.
Oh, Ethan Hatcher's going to stop by. He's got some sort of really cool Independence Day. He collects antiques.
He wears antiques.
He wears antiques.
That's
he
cool.
lives antiques,
fun.
and so he's got some cool stuff to show you on YouTube.
And don't forget, Ethan has a show on the Circle tonight.
He does.
At 7 p.m.
He surely does.
So he's going to be with you. He's also quite the artist. You see the stuff? Well, we can't show it now, but he's quite the artist.
He's one in a million.
One in a million. Well, Terry Lynn, Jack, any sales going on? I think Allison said that we had the 4th of July sale for
Yeah, I think
Sullivan.
the biggest one, if you want to stop in and get some perennial planting done, June is perennial planting month, but all of our perennials right now are buy 3, get 1 free.
I love that. And
It is perennial planting month.
It is.
Okay.
Even though it's hot, still great time
Still
to
do
plant.
it?
Yep, absolutely.
Now, Jack, starting in July, on July 1st, it's National Carpet Cleaning Month.
Well, let's start cleaning
I
our
learned
carpets.
that this week for one of our sponsors. He said, now remind everybody it's National Carpet Cleaning Month. Allison, your life has been interesting. For sure. You got to travel. You're back. And I don't know. Tell us.
Just ending the show with, you're interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Denny.
You are.
You're unique.
Thanks. Any other weird compliments? Or
No,
I'm just
no.
kidding. No.
You know I'm your biggest
No.
fan, so don't do
No,
that.
you guys are great.
That is
All
a
right.
compliment.
Well, of course it
That's
is.
what my mom says, too.
Really?
That I'm special.
I want to remind you, I got a chance to eat lunch with my grandson. We went to the Mug and Bun, which is still
Love it.
in Speedway.
Love it.
Since 1962.
It's just one of the best.
Still. The tenderloin was bigger than the bun by an inch all the way around.
Everything's fun there.
And I
It's
will
a
say-
drive-in. It's an old drive-in.
Yeah, and I thought I was going to roast out there. They put it in a bag, and we went over to Leonard Park and sat down at a picnic table and had our lunch.
It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Made a memory.
Made a memory. If you have not been to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, invest in a couple of hours. It is to die for.
It really is.
the
What
old-
they have done is incredible. You go back a few times. You'll need to because it's got so much cool
It's got
stuff.
the multimedia. As you first walk in, you're going to go through the old garages from the 1900s all the way up to the 1980s or 1990s, and you can see how the garages have changed, including the technology. You're listening to radio broadcasts from so far long ago.
I think we've got sprint cars out there next weekend too.
We when we were there, the Ferraris were there.
Were they?
were doing Ferrari testing. Boy, are those guys
There's
fast.
something always going on at the Speedway.
All right, that's it for us. Our thanks to the Michaelis Corporation. Pat will be back in a couple of weeks. So will Fulton, too, for that matter. 93 WIBC.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile